sports show this town has ever heard. Here's Miller and Moulton.
You're live. How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton on this hump day, the final one of February in 2020. Thanks so much for being with us on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio. Streaming always, foxsportsfm.com. Broadcasting live many a place, including on the Miller and Moulton YouTube and Twitch TV channels. How are you on this stormy morning throughout much of Southwest Florida?
Yeah, what's that all about? When I get I'm always thrown for a loop when I get up in the morning and the oven says power loss. I've got that digital timer.
Right.
It gives me the power loss.
Right.
And I was like, really?
When you have a blinking light somewhere in the house.
Right.
You go,
And it was only, because everything else didn't go, just the oven.
Huh.
Microwave was fine. They're about 20 minutes off. I'm going to see how long it takes the wife to figure it out, because you know that will not bother me one bit and would drive you at. It'll drive you nuts when you get a water, now that I just told you that it's like that.
yes, it will. Yes, it will.
And I will try to leave that as long as is humanly possible. I think it bothers my wife as much as it bothers you, and it doesn't even affect me. I go, oh, 4:03. That's about 20 minutes slow, and just go on with my day.
Yeah, when I check into a hotel room, one of the first things I have to figure out is, all right, how off is this this clock?
Do you adjust said clock?
No, I don't touch anything. I don't let anybody in my room. I don't touch anything in the room. No. The only thing, I do rearrange the desk because,
Right.
I have to broadcast and got the equipment, what have you. So I basically move everything to one side.
And you just shove it. It's not like it's an effort to move things around. You just kind of Zamboni everything to the corner.
Yeah, absolutely. Just sweep it
Quick
to the corner.
Quick arm bar off to one side.
Right.
We're good here.
Yeah, I do put it back, though, before I leave. Well, I'm just saying. I try to straighten up. I put all my towels in one area. I try to make it as easy as possible on the staff, but I don't want any of them in the room while I'm in the room.
Immediate do not disturb on the front of the door.
Immediate. Like it's on the door before the door closes for the first time.
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like
Yes.
you open the door, grab it from behind.
Right.
You haven't really, you're 1 foot in, 1 foot. You're straddling your
I
room
am.
when you put the do not disturb on.
I
I'm
am.
right there with you. Now, I let them clean my room because I
No.
take it off. It depends how, you're only there for a day or two, so I would probably be like you. Most of the time, your hotels, you're in for max 2 nights, unless you're doing now, when you do a golf trip, you better let them clean the room. You're there for a week.
Yeah, I don't let anybody in the room. I'm not playing around. I don't let anybody in the room. I just consistently, I stop and I go, hey, I need towels. All right, and I go up to the room and I wait for them to knock and I go, thank you very much. No, that I don't let anyone in the room. No, I don't trust anybody.
Well,
I have a lot of-
at this point, it's obvious.
But I've got equipment. I've got stuff that I don't want anyone in the room.
At this point, David, I'm being serious when I say this. If there is anybody that's listening that doesn't understand that you don't want anybody in the
Yes.
room, they were not paying attention to the last couple of minutes. Because what I know for sure right now, David, is you don't want anybody
In the room.
anybody in the room.
There you
Do you
go.
allow your wife to stay in the room?
Well, she's smart enough to not want to be with me in the room.
And
but yes.
here's the next question.
Hey,
When
she
you-
doesn't want anyone in the room.
Okay, that
either.
was going to be the next question, because my wife wouldn't stand for what you're talking about.
Why? What am I talking about?
Not having the room cleaned. One of the beauties of being in a hotel. One of the absolute greatest things, and the most important reason that I want to be in a hotel, is that they clean my bathroom and they make my bed every day.
Right. Something that you don't do when you're home.
Yeah, we do. We make the bed every day. Bed's made right now.
Really?
Yes. Bed's made before 6 a.m. in this house every day.
Now, what's
Weekends as well.
What's part of? Is that
Full on made.
Wow.
Wife does it most days. If she happens to leave before, I will do it because she enjoys having it made. So I make sure when she comes home, as best I can have a nice, tight, looking good bed.
So
Well, yeah, but you can't just throw the covers on. It's not making the bed.
Well, yes.
Well, that's why I specified nice, tight, neat, look good.
Okay.
Because that is not what you consider. My guess is you consider making the bed is throwing the comforter over everything.
Yeah.
No matter what type of pile is there underneath.
I don't even have sheets. Yeah. No, I just sleep with a comforter. Right. So, making the bed is just, okay, it's kind of sort of, it's on there. Doesn't need to be straight. I don't mind if it's crooked. I don't care if there's a lump. I don't mind a lump in my comforter. I don't mind lumps in my potatoes. No, I'm fine. Yeah. No, I'm low maintenance. Stay out of my room. That's it.
We got it.
Yeah.
We got it. Your wife's letting me know that she'll let them in the room as long as she is there with her coffee, which, that's, I don't have, so you're home, you and I both have people that help clean our house every other week. Someone comes over and you're always home for that, right?
Yes. Yeah, I don't allow anybody in the house when I'm not there.
Right.
Right. Yeah, my wife's fine with people just coming and doing their thing.
Me
and
too.
Leaving. Yeah, no, absolutely not. No, I don't bother them. Nothing. But I'm not.
Well, I feel like they're bothering me. I don't have the same, even though it's still my house, they're kind of doing their thing, and I feel like I'm interrupting them, so I don't want to be around.
I sit at the kitchen table, which is turned into my little workspace anyway. So I just sit there and I work. That's all. And they do what they do and what have you. And I tip well and, have a good day.
Gotcha.
See you in a couple of weeks. Stay out of my room. 249-8167. 249-8167. Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text line.
That could, in and of itself, be the poll question right there.
I'm fine with it.
I mean, that to me is better than anything else
that we can come up with.
Yeah, what else are we going to come with that's better than that? Who do you think's going to win the NCAA national title? I mean, how many bubble teams do we have? Who cares? As you have said all year long, this is the worst college basketball season in 30 years.
I think it's the worst since the 70s. I really do, because the 80s were magnificent. And I just think this is a down year for college basketball. I mean, name me a player that excites you off the top of your head. That
kid from Dayton, that Obi.
So he's must-see TV.
Yeah,
for
you? I think he's terrific.
That's fine. Okay, that's one. I like. I think it's Miles Powell from Seton Hall. All right, he'd be on my short list for Player of the Year. I like watching him. But I'm just saying.
No.
In past years, this is not. To me, there's not a must-watch team, and there are very few players that you stop what you're doing. I mean, Trae Young was one of those players. Zion was one of those players. We've been lucky the last couple years. We have had guys, Ja Morant. We have had players in which you went out of your way to watch them play. You found out about them. You were excited about them. And also some teams. I mean, Duke last year with the 3 lottery picks on it. You were excited to watch Duke play.
Kentucky doesn't have a lottery pick that I'm aware of. Duke, I don't know if they have a lottery pick. It's not a high lottery pick. North Carolina is a grease fire. Right. I mean, these are royalty programs, and Duke and Kentucky are off, and North Carolina is not even in the stratosphere of what they're supposed to be.
I mean, North Carolina is going to threaten to lose 20 games this year.
North Carolina
men's basketball and Notre Dame women's basketball are both going to threaten to lose 20 games this year. I mean, it is just one of those years. It's remarkable what is taking place. It could lead to, we had Virginia against Texas Tech in the national championship game last year. We had Auburn in the Final Four as well. It would not shock me if we have something very similar to that.
You've been high on Creighton. Florida State's another team you were high on as well early in the year. I watched them play Louisville. They're as you know, they're a really entertaining team to watch.
I have them going to the Final Four.
But they're not there's no household names.
No.
If Florida State football got to the Final Four, we'd all go, "Oh, that's great." Florida State basketball gets there, we have no idea what's going on. And they're a really solid, dangerous tournament team.
They're a very tough out. They are long, they are athletic, they can defend. If they are above average offensively, I think they get to the Final Four.
Kansas, out of all of the Power Fives named teams, Kansas is legit.
Yeah, Kansas and Baylor.
Kansas will be your, but I mean, and Baylor's good, I know, but Baylor's certainly, they're by no means, Baylor's women's team's a power in college basketball, not their men's team.
Not a power, but I will say this year their resume is as good as anybody. They have I think the most quality wins along with Kansas of any team in the country, and it would not shock me if they're both ones.
No argument here, but Baylor's a lot like Texas Tech getting to the Final
Sure.
Four last year. There's no brand recognition.
No.
There's nothing out there. There's not players, as you mentioned. It's tough to get excited. That didn't even bring up San Diego State, which has a very good team, but no one knows who they are, and they play at 11 o'clock at night most nights.
On CBS Sports Network.
Gonzaga, who hasn't played in a spotlight since December, they put them on early because their non-conference schedule is usually pretty good, but there's another team plays late games. They happen to get beat by BYU the other night. BYU is actually a pretty solid squad this year. They're a top 25 team. But so we have Gonzaga, San Diego State, Creighton. I mean, these are the teams we're talking about this year in college basketball.
Right. And
it'll be fun for the tournament,
it will.
but I would imagine ratings will be down because we're not going to have a lot of the named coaches and players making it as far as we're used to seeing them.
We'll see, though. We'll see. People love their madness. But it has been a down regular season. At least it has been to me. Just not a ton of excitement, and anything can happen this year in the tournament. I do mean anything.
And we heard it. We had our bracketologist, Shelby Mast, on the other day, and he basically said down to 11 seeds for one game. There's not a lot of surprise if there are upsets.
249-8167, 249-8167, Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text line. So you want to go with the hotel poll question?
Oh, yes. Do you let... It's either do you let the cleaning staff in the room without you or something around, maid service. Because I am really surprised that I get the one night stay. And David, I understand you don't let anybody in your room. I get it. I just am surprised, particularly when you do the golf weeks and you're somewhere a long time, that at some point you wouldn't want your room freshened up. But we get it. No one in your room. I understand. I'm not questioning it. I am just repeating it in case somehow, some way, somebody listening didn't seem to understand what it was that you were trying to convey.
Make as much fun as you want.
I'm not making fun. I want you to. I understand that. I get it. No fun being made.
But sometimes if you're in a room for a week,
it starts to smell.
It could, I guess. But if you're hardly in the room, which during my golf tournaments, I'm hardly there. I'm at the golf course 12 to 14 hours, so I'm hardly there. So how much damage can you do? Literally go back to the room to sleep.
What can I say? I like a freshly made bed.
I found that out. I learned something about you today. Yep. You make the bed. So pretty much you get up, you shower, you come back, you make the bed.
Sometimes it's made before the shower.
Wow.
Sometimes I'll get up.
When you're staggering around, you make the bed?
Sometimes by the time I've come back with Frank from the walk, she's already made the bed.
Look at that. That is cleanliness right there. Man, no wonder this house always looks so good. Well, but you're one of those in which you clean before the cleaning people
Well,
come.
I think everybody does that, though. We've had this discussion before.
I know, and that's absurd. It just is. It's kind of like washing the dishes in the sink before you put them in the dishwasher. Just say it out loud. If it seems ridiculous, it probably is.
Well, it does seem ridiculous, but people are paid by the hour, and what my wife doesn't want them doing is the things that can be easily done. She wants them doing the cleaning, dusting, mopping, dirt in corners.
The stuff you're not going to do?
Right.
All right. Okay. It sounds ridiculous. Cleaning people are coming.
Yeah, pick everything out. Trust me. David, I'll tell you right now.
Straightening up is one thing, but cleaning.
Well, that's what that's really what it is. But David, there will be a minimum of one pile, maybe two. There will be one in the kitchen on that high bar there of my stuff. And then in the bedroom on the nightstand, there is typically a second pile that she just gathers and leaves. And it's her way of telling me,
Do something
before
with
you
this.
walk out the door,
Do something.
make
with
sure this is somewhere else.
All right. So the poll question will have something to do with whether or not you allow people in your room or not.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Figure out the wording. You know, it's not often that news happens in the middle of the night. But news happened in the middle of the night. The NFLPA worked yesterday.
They worked reasonably hard.
Yeah, they did. They had hours worth of meetings amongst themselves. Then most people believe, they don't really know for sure, that the NFLPA and managed to talk to the owners a bit. We have no idea if the owners have sweetened any of the pot in any way, shape, or form. But all we know is that at 1 o'clock in the morning, that the NFLPA's player reps voted to send the owner's proposal to the rank and file. The players are going to vote on the CBA agreement. We don't know if that agreement was changed. My guess is it was a little bit. But the 17th game has not changed. I mean, that has not come out. Because we'd have the owners going, we're not in favor of this. So there is a CBA proposal with a 17th game in it and an extra playoff team in it that has been sent to the new membership. And what is interesting, Mark, is will the 7th team happen this year? I'm led to believe it is.
Well, that was always what we have been told. There's one other little thing that I saw in the agreement, in principle, that if you read, David, I didn't hear it, and that wouldn't be the first time, but I think I would have. Because it talks about the 17th game, the 2 new playoff teams, the revenue increase. But the last thing it says, again, if I missed it, it's on me, would move most disciplinary reviews to a neutral arbitrator instead of Commissioner Roger Goodell.
Yep. That was out last week.
And that's a biggie.
It is.
I mean,
It's the one thing also, we've had Pat Kerwin on the show, obviously, 75 times a year for 12 years. And he has been saying for many a year, discipline is not going to get moved out of the commissioner's office. It is. To a large degree. Not everything, but many a case now is going to go to an independent person. That's a big give up by the commish and by the owners.
And I wonder quietly how many owners pushed for this as well.
Well, if you look at this closely, this to me is textbook negotiations by the owners. They have given up all of the little things. Marijuana testing, it's basically going to be once a year. It's going to be at like the beginning of the year. So everybody knows here's when the test is going to be, and you're only going to get tested once. Basically, the NFL is saying, we really don't care, but we're going to test for it once. Okay? That's it, and we don't care anymore. You want to smoke pot 350 days a year for whatever reason, knock yourself out. We don't care.
Yeah, just go to Purple Ringer before your test and take that stuff so you pee clean. That's really all we care about.
All. And then here's when the test is going to be. It's going to be at the very beginning of the year. And if you're so dumb that you fail this test, that's on you.
I'm actually shocked. I'm actually shocked they even do that because I think baseball's pretty much done testing.
And they're raising, what money they're giving. They're actually giving more to the rank and file than they are at the top end, because that's less money if you really think about it. And it's not a lot more money. I mean,
and it's an easy way, but it's an easy way to get approval.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean,
yeah, they did all the little things to make the masses happy. Those that hate Goodell, well, they took largely discipline away. They're giving raises to the bottom, not to the top, to the bottom. The top's not going to go. And if the top goes up, great. It affects everybody in a positive
the top
way.
always goes up.
Yeah,
We've
it's
never
been
had a
going up.
problem in this country with the top going up.
No, and it's been going up 10 to 12 million a year, the cap, and it now is going to largely go up even more than that going forward. And so they gave up all the little things. And they gave up most of the money that they surrendered. They're surrendering to the bottom as opposed to the top. And then they made the big ask. We want an extra game. They also came down from, remember, a year ago this time, they wanted 18 games.
Well, and they also, by large accounts, there's two other things that they've kind of thrown in here with this, is that they've added the, like you said, they've added the bottom salary, but they've added a couple players to practice squads.
Yeah, they've increased roster size.
And they've talked about I mean, we haven't seen it yet, but there's been talk of perhaps the rosters increasing.
Yeah.
So
more jobs.
So again, for the rank and file, what did we do? Raises for
more,
the lowest end guys and more jobs.
Right. Yeah.
And guys who are voting members of the NFLPA right now are probably going to get cut because of rookies coming in who are not yet members of the union. So they're going to vote this in because they want every one of those jobs.
And so we're giving you about 12 things here that you have asked for. We want an extra game. We're not budging on that one, though. Just so you know.
And no, they are not.
We're not budging on that. We want a 17th game. We are giving you all of this. You're giving us 10 years and a 17th game. What do you say? And I think it's going to pass. I think it's going to pass overwhelmingly. Overwhelmingly, I think it's going to pass. And then they are going to sit down and they are negotiate television deals, the likes of which we have never seen in this country. Never. This league's going to become a $25 billion annual industry by 2025.
And I think the players by 2025 are going to realize that they probably could have had more because somehow, whether it's streaming revenue, whether it's a new DirecTV deal, there's something that the owners will get over on these players.
Oh, yeah, because it's only 48 to 48.5% of shared revenue. Well, they're not sharing all revenue. They never have, and they never will. So, yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, the owners are very enthusiastic about this deal. It's like the analogy I made the other day. I mean, if you want a major healthcare deal done in this country, if the insurance industry is largely in favor of it, it probably is not a great deal for us. It just isn't. That doesn't mean it can't be a decent deal for us, but it's probably not a great deal for us. Because if they think it's a great deal for them, it's tough for it to be a win-win. Same here. I mean, if the owners are jumping up and down going, you're voting on this, right? Please tell me you're voting on this. Can't wait for you to vote on this. We think this would be a really good thing.
And that's out of one side of the mouth. Out of their other, they're saying we're not renegotiating any part of this deal.
Well, that we don't know. We don't know what took place
in those 4 hours. You're right. But the reports were, in and of the first meeting to now, is that they weren't planning on budging on a whole hell of a lot.
Right. And so
the big numbers, I don't think, are going to change.
No, I don't think so either. If there's anything, they tweaked a couple of things. And nothing major, though. 10 years, 17th game. It's all the owners care about.
Right. Yeah,
10 years, 17th game. You want to change some of the other stuff.
Right. You want to not test for pot, period?
Yeah,
Who cares? We really don't care.
Really. You want us to pass it out live on TV? Okay, and fine. We really don't care at all. But you're giving us an extra game, and you're giving us 10 years. And the amount of money we're going to negotiate from these TV networks will be staggering. Absolutely staggering. Miller and Moulton. Your starting five on this hump day is coming up. Seth Everett will join us in a couple hours. The legendary Sam Jones, who's coming to town along with Rick Barry, Nate Archibald. A little visit on the Monday after Selection Sunday at Bo Campers in Naples. Little meet and greet thing. Tell stories, pictures, autographs, that sort of deal. It's a fun thing to be at. So we'll talk to the legendary Celtic coming up in our 8 o'clock hour. It's all part of Miller and Moulton on this hump day. Thanks for making us part of your day on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
Receiving. Over.
Alexa, you're clear. Play Fox Sports FM on TuneIn.
LeBron has shown his greatness. Kevin Durant's a better player.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Smart speaker.
Are we cheering for idiots? What's going on?
Sounds more like a dumb speaker, am I right?
You're an idiot. Nice job.
Get Southwest Florida sports talk delivered to your speaker.
This is easy.
Just say, Alexa,
Hello.
play Fox Sports FM on TuneIn.
Finally, something worthwhile.
I didn't think it was going to be this easy.
Get your tickets now. Naples All-Star Events presents the Legends of Basketball. Meet and greet Monday, March 16th from 4 to 6 p.m. at Bo Camper's Sports Bar and Grill. Come and enjoy the company of NBA All-Stars, including Nate Archibald, Rick Barry, Phil Chenier, and Sam Jones. Your exclusive access not only includes the Hall of Famers, but an appetizer buffet, prizes, and more. VIP tickets give you the premium contact, including autographs and personal photo ops. A portion of the proceeds to benefit the Warrior-Centric Healthcare Foundation that provides necessary healthcare needs to military and veteran communities. Meet and greet the Legends of Basketball, March 16th at Bo Camper's Sports Bar and Grill, 8990 Fontana del Sol Way, Naples. Don't miss this opportunity to be with NBA All-Stars and Hall of Famers. It's the Legends of Basketball Meet and Greet. For more information and to get your exclusive ticket now, go to NaplesAllStarEvents.com.
Glassdoor. Find the right fit for your business in half the resumes. Go to glassdoor.com/hire to find your next hire. Glassdoor.
Live Greyhound Racing is back for the final season of racing at the Naples-Fort Myers Greyhound Track. Doors open daily at 9:45 a.m. with poker action and simulcast wagering until 2 a.m. on weekdays and 3 a.m. on weekends. Enjoy lunch or dinner in their high-stakes restaurant or check out the daily specials at the Hold'em Grill by the Poker Room. And don't forget to take advantage of the $1 beer, $1 hot dogs, and $1 sodas on the first and third Friday of every month. If poker's your game, you can win thousands of dollars during their high hand promotion giveaways. Their 34-table poker room also features games like 3-card poker, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, High Card Flush, and poker tournaments. Visit their website at NaplesFortMyersDogs.com for the live racing schedule and poker and simulcast information. The dogs are here for one more year, so come on out and have a beer at the Naples-Fort Myers Greyhound Track in Bonita Springs.
Listen to the Dan Patrick Show at work.
Never boring, that's for sure.
Streaming 24/7 at FoxSportsFM.com.
Cathedral Roofing Innovations. Now, Hurricane Irma was a long time ago, but believe it or not, problems with tile roofs, they continue to occur as a result. Now, many homeowners are just now feeling the effects of the hidden damage that occurred to their tile roof. Now, whether it's new leaks, cracked, unsecured tiles, these roofs are living on borrowed time. Now, tile roofs, by nature of their design, are susceptible to lift and powerful storms like hurricanes. When this occurs, your tile underlayment can be compromised, but you would not realize it until possibly years later. Now, with Cathedral Roofing Innovations, you get a great roofing company to inspect your roof for any damage. And just because you don't have leaks doesn't mean you don't have issues. Just go to CathedralRoofingNaples.com. They are the tile experts in Naples, and they will start the inspection process right away. Just go to CathedralRoofingNaples.com. CathedralRoofingNaples.com.
License number CCC 1331928.
Ever purchased an online item and either it doesn't fit, has missing parts, or became damaged? Trying to save a few bucks can end up costing more. My Shower Door is a locally owned and operated family business that measures, manufactures, and installs our own brand of frameless shower doors right here in Southwest Florida. And we were just named Lee County's Manufacturer of the Year. With almost 80,000 shower doors installed, we have the experience and expertise. Plus, estimates are always free. Want to see more? Go to myshowerdoor.com.
No matter where you're boating, with Towboat US, you're covered by the world's largest towing fleet with over 300 ports nationwide. Your local Towboat US companies in Charlotte, Lee, and Collier counties are here to help 24/7, 365 days a year. Inland, the river to Lake O, and out 75 nautical miles. And new member specials are running all year. Call 239-945-1664 for more information or visit towboatuscapecoral.com. With Towboat US, you're never stuck on the water.
Here we go. Now back to Miller and Moulton.
No.
This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
.6:31, 29 minutes before 7 o'clock on this Hump Day edition of Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for being with us. Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio. And it's going to get a little stormy today. May already be stormy in the northern parts of our listening audience. Charlotte County, northern part of Lee County. Some rain has already come through.
The very wealthy on Sanibel Captiva. And the very poor that are crossing the bridge to work for the very wealthy on Sanibel Captiva.
and then the cool weather accompanies it after the storms today and right on through the weekend.
I know.
Hope people can handle it.
I don't know if I can.
Well, we know that over the years.
I got to work again this weekend. Outdoor work.
Yeah, and it'll be in the 60s. Oh, my goodness.
It's going to be in the 40s early.
Yes, it will.
I'm looping this weekend, David.
You're looping?
I'm a looper.
What are you doing?
Yingling. I always loop for my buddy in the Yingling.
Have you guys ever had any success with you looping?
Not a whole lot. Nothing great. I mean, I'll blame me. Not his game at all. Certainly not his fault. He's not the one, carrying the bag. He's the one missing the putts.
That's what I would imply. That, after a while, you would think he would want to change things up.
He doesn't. He keeps, the texts come in. Texts come in. Hey, you on the bag again this year? Of course. You ask, I say yes.
Have you suggested that maybe, he should change
I
his
dumped
luck?
him last year for the second day and made him take a cart and went fishing.
How did he do?
The second day?
Yeah.
I think a shot better.
Oh, okay.
So apparently I don't even give a shot. I cost him a shot.
Okay, that's not bad, though. Because at first glance, I would think you'd cost him more than that. So that's not bad. So basically, that was a risky move by you, because in theory, he goes out and lights it up. There's no reason for him to come back to you.
I'm actually bummed out. Last year, one of the guy he played with, and I've known this guy for a while. He plays in all these tournaments. I've never seen him post much of a score. I'm not saying he's bad, but he to me was a guy that was just barely on the fringe of being able to try to play mini tour events. And that's a pretty bad spot to be, if you know what I mean. And he goes out on Sunday last year and shoots like 62 and ends up finishing, I think, third in the tournament. And, went from like 72 to 62 or 63. And I'm like, wow, didn't know that guy had it in him. So I was bummed out because anytime you're on the golf course and someone, whether it's you or not, and you're lucky enough to play with someone who just plays that career round or be around someone
it's cool.
playing that well, it's just a lot of fun to watch.
Well, you're going to have to bundle up. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I'm hopeful. Pairings party is tonight. I'm hoping for a late Saturday tee time. I don't want to be part of the early group Saturday. I want to go late, not early.
Gotcha. 26 minutes before the hour. Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories that you need to know. This is Miller and Moulton Starting 5. Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
The NFLPA voted a little over 5 hours ago to allow the full membership to vote on the 10-year proposed CBA. The 17th game would not start this year. And in fact, it would not start earlier than 2021. And it's a guarantee that for the full 10 years, Mark, there will only be 17 games. No chance for the owners to take it to 18 during the 10-year agreement. So the full membership, nearly 1,900 players, going to get to vote on this proposed deal. A couple other items in the NFL yesterday. At the Combine, Joe Burrow said he's not sitting out. If the Bengals draft him, he's showing up, he's playing. As he said, I'm a ball player. Not going to sit home. Now, that doesn't really address whether or not he wants Cincinnati to draft him, but he did say, hey, whoever takes me, I'm playing. And Cam Newton looks as if he's going to play for Carolina. The Panthers let it be known yesterday that they're going to stick with Cam at least for 2020. I believe it's the final year on his contract, and that physically Cam is coming along well. Remember, he played the first 2 games of last season, and that's it, and missed the rest of the year with a foot injury. His last game was the Thursday nighter at home against Tampa Bay, and we wondered why it was that on 4th and a foot, they didn't give it to Cam down by the goal line to just go over the top. Well, that foot injury obviously had a little something to do with it.
And I don't know if you caught this. Did you see, and we might have talked about it yesterday because I saw it late yesterday morning. I loved Bruce Arians' comments when asked about Jameis Winston.
In which he said, we know what we're going to do. We just haven't notified Jameis yet.
I absolutely love that. That one in Vrabel yesterday saying, well, we're unsure on what we're doing with Tannehill.
Which
keep asking questions. We're not going to tell you anything.
Although I think you just told us a lot by saying that. I mean, that to me says
we want Tom.
Yeah, we're going after TB12.
Right, we want Tom.
And if we can get Tom to agree to come here, we're getting rid of Ryan. We're moving on. I was talking about injuries. Well, the Yankees suffered a big one yesterday. Their number 2 starter, Luis Severino, is going to have Tommy John surgery and miss the entire 2020 season. They're already without their number 3 starter, James Paxton, for the early part of the season. So good thing the Yankees got Garrett Cole, and, well, they have that lineup that hit 300-plus homers last year. They're still the favorites in the AL East. Spring training today, Red Sox on the road. They're in Bradenton to play the Pirates. The Twins have a split squad. They're home for the Phillies, and they're in Port Charlotte to take on the Rays, and the Braves are on the road. They're in Sarasota to play the Orioles. NBA last night, how about the Milwaukee Bucks? I said take Toronto and the points because Milwaukee had played the night before and had to play overtime. Well, Toronto had the lead at the half, but Milwaukee found themselves in a big third quarter. The Greek Freak with 19 points, 19 rebounds. Milwaukee by 11 in Toronto over the Raptors, 108-97. Mark, they are 50-8.
Yeah, that was impressive last night. I watched a pretty good chunk of that game.
Lakers were impressive, although they got off to a big lead. New Orleans came back and caught them. LeBron with 40. Lakers have won 6 in a row, 118-109 over the Pelicans. Zion did have 29 in the first meeting between LeBron and Williamson.
Yeah, but the Lakers came out and steamrolled them early.
I know, like 5 minutes in, it was 17-4.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Pelicans caught them, though.
I know, but it's a game of runs. When you start out with one really big one and you're always constantly having to play catch-up, it's not easy.
This would be a fascinating 1-8 first-round playoff series for the simple fact that, remember, they made the big trade during the offseason. AD with the Lakers. Well, half the Lakers went to New Orleans in the deal. I mean, you know, Brandon Ingram had 31 yesterday. I mean, there's a few guys on New Orleans who are very motivated when they play the Lakers. It would be an entertaining first-round series, but New Orleans is 4 back of Memphis for that final playoff spot. College basketball last night, we had 2 ranked teams go on the road and lose. Duke led by 9 with 1:15 to play. Wake outscored them 10-1 to end regulation and force overtime, and eventually the Demon Deacons in double OT knock off 7th-ranked Duke 113-101. And Texas Tech, the Red Raiders, ranked 22nd in the country. Well, they went to Oklahoma, and the Sooners beat them by 14, 65-51. Otherwise, Dayton, Kentucky, Auburn, Baylor, San Diego State, all at home, all winners last night. The game of the night, though, 2 ranked teams. 24th-ranked Michigan State beat 18th-ranked Iowa 78-70.
It was a reasonably entertaining game. It really was. I like that kid from Iowa. Their big fellow there had 20 or whatever again. I mean, it's like he's got a record going for consecutive 20-point games. The kid can Garza can flat out score. He's a fun player to watch, and he did not play well last night. And that's, to me, that's, you know, when you go out, Iowa came out, he missed his first 4 shots. Their team made their first 4. So I always like that when the team can pick up, especially on the road. Entertaining game.
Well, that's good. That's good. Hey,
I watched a lot of hoop last night.
At least it was 78-70 as opposed to 58-50.
Well, after the first half and the dreadfulness of the offense, it looked as if it was going to be.
Interesting note for FGCU women's team yesterday because, they haven't lost in over 2 months. And they, won a couple games last week, and they actually dropped a spot in the coaches poll. They dropped to number 23, which is interesting. They've won 16 in a row. Hats off to Zenautica Downs of the FSW women's team. She was voted Player of the Year in the Suncoast Conference, and Christy Ward-Cangelosi voted Coach of the Year. They are number 12 in the country heading into the region and hopefully for them national playoffs coming up. NHL news from yesterday. Leafs over the Lightning, who after losing like twice in 2 months have now lost 3 in a row. 4-3 Leafs, a winner in Tampa. And the Panthers with a big win on the road, 2-1 in Arizona. Did you hear what the expansion Seattle franchise is doing?
I did not.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll tease it for you. We'll talk about it after the break. One other hockey note, the Blades saw their number one goalie get called up to Milwaukee yesterday. Ken Appleby leads the ECHL in wins with 25. Don't know how long he's going to be up in the A. The Blades start another homestand Friday against Newfoundland. Remember, they went there last year, so it's the Newfies' turn to come here. College baseball last night in a game that hopefully you caught part of here on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio. FGCU, 1 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th, beat Eastern Michigan in a walk-off 3-2. And it was literally a walk-off. A bases-loaded walk ended it. Outside of a bases-loaded balk, I don't know if you could have a more
bases-loaded hit by pitch would be right there,
okay,
too.
Yeah, it's probably number 2. Balk 1, hit by pitch 2, walk 3. But, boy, the Eagles needed it. Second win of the year. And that is
the starting 5. 5 big stories that you need to know. This is Miller and Moulton Starting 5. Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
At 17 minutes before the top of the hour, did you do the poll question?
I have not hit tweet yet, but it says, do you let housekeeping in your hotel room to clean, or are you like David Moulton and don't let anyone in your room? Clean my room, stay out.
Did you really put that in the question?
I haven't, like I said, I haven't said it yet, but
I like it.
I mean, it's factual. It all is based on the fact, David, do you let anybody in your room?
Mark, no one is allowed in my room. If the room was on fire, I don't know if I'd let the fire department in the room.
Well, yeah, because you have equipment in there.
Right. I have my laptop in there.
Ooh.
Stay away. Mm-hmm. I don't know what to tell you. You don't get that. Hey, if somebody steals something from your room, you getting that back? Are you getting that back? I didn't get my wallet back. You think I'm getting
that in your hotel room?
No.
Okay. Because I guess I've stayed in hotels. I'm 50 years old. I've never done that. I've never had anything stolen from me from a hotel room. I've left very valuable stuff in there. Also, that's why they have a safe in the hotel room. So usually I put my really valuable stuff in the safe.
Yeah, you can't put a laptop in the safe.
No, you can't. I leave mine right in the room. Never been stolen.
Right. Well, I've lost stuff in the room before.
Okay. You have bad luck.
Yeah, I do. You're right.
You know what? Stealing that canoe, karma's coming back to get you.
Is all because of the canoe?
It's canoe karma.
Huh.
Not karma chameleon. Canoe karma.
Well, thank goodness for that. Miller and Moulton. So the poll question will be up during the break. And when we come back, don't say that a sports team won't do something for its fans. Because in Seattle, they are. We'll explain next. Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
This is the Dan Patrick Show.
I mean, there's so many different things that are attached to this. Imagine if you're a pitcher and you're facing the Astros and you pitch inside. You might not get a warning. You might get run because if a pitch gets away from you, are you trying to hit an Astros hitter? And that's going to be really unfair to some pitchers here. Hey, are you throwing inside? You know, that's just another element attached to this.
Dan Patrick.
And here they are.
Weekdays at 9 a.m. on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
Dial star 2020. Friends Eye Care.
Guess when you think technology can't get any better when it comes to cataract surgery, pure genius comes along and proves us all wrong. Dr. Jonathan France and his team of caring professionals at France Eye Care, bringing you state-of-the-art technology with the light adjustable lens. So what's the wow factor, you might ask? Your prescription adjustments can be customized after cataract surgery through a series of non-invasive light treatments. The light adjustable lens is made of special photosensitive material. It changes the power of an implanted lens in response to UV light. Imagine that, a lens designed for the unique individual nature of your eyes. It's lights on after cataract surgery with a light adjustable lens. Call France Eye Care today to find out if you qualify. See your future in 2020. Dial star 2020 from your cell phone or call 418-0999.
Friends Eye Care.
This is Mark Miller for Tim Tracing Motors, and I'm with Wes Dobbins, a very satisfied Tim Tracing Motors customer.
Thanks, Mark. Over the past 20 years, my family and I have purchased at least 17 vehicles from Tim Tracing Motors. Everything from Beamers to town cars to Cadillacs to cars for our kids to the Toyota Avalon and Highlander that we currently own. We've always been impressed by the thoughtful, straightforward way that Tim and Matt do business. We especially appreciate that they're so picky about the quality of cars that they bring to the market. They have always stood behind
I don't
our
notice
cars,
ones
and that's
that don't
why
have
we'll
my-
continue to be loyal Tim Tracing Motors customers.
Well, there you have it. Visit online at timmotors.com. That's timmotors.com, or call to set up an appointment at 275-7900. 275-7900. At Tim Tracing Motors, they are confident when you meet them, you'll agree that you've never been to a dealership like theirs before. Visit online at timmotors.com. That's timmotors.com, or call to set up an appointment at 275-7900. 275-7900.
King Roofing's long-standing reputation gives you the peace of mind that they'll be here if and when a warranty repair is needed. There are some great roofing companies in Naples, but there are also storm chasers. They set up shop after a storm and they leave a few years later when the leads dry up, leaving homeowners in a bind when there's a warranty issue. Stay local and call King Roofing today.
License number CCC 057279.
Every castle deserves a king.
You own a home with a tile or shingle roof? You live between Port Charlotte and Marco Island? Hello, I'm Jimmy Williamson with Williamson Brothers Roofing. If you answered yes to either question, it's very likely your roof suffered damage from Hurricane Irma that's not visible from the ground, and you may very well be entitled to a new roof for little or no money out of pocket. But you only have a 3-year window to make a claim, and time is running out. If you have a tile or shingle roof and live between Port Charlotte and Marco Island, call us at 239-283-2013. It's a free, no-obligation inspection that can benefit you in the form of a new roof. Williamson Brothers Roofing, we deal with the insurance carrier for you. Call us at 239-283-2013. Again, time is running out. Call us at 239-283-2013. Williamson Brothers Roofing specializes in the claims process. We have experts standing by. We get claims approved. 239-283-2013.
No matter where you're boating, with Towboat US, you're covered by the world's largest towing fleet with over 300 ports nationwide. Your local Towboat US companies in Charlotte, Lee, and Collier counties are here to help 24/7, 365 days a year. Inland, the river to Lake O, and out 75 nautical miles. And new member specials are running all year. Call 239-945-1664 for more information, or visit towboatuscapecoral.com. With Towboat US, you're never stuck on the water.
Now back to Miller and Moulton.
All right, now we're getting somewhere.
No. This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live. 10 minutes before 7 o'clock on this Hump Day edition of Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio, streaming foxsportsfm.com, broadcasting live Facebook, Twitter, and on the Miller and Moulton YouTube and Twitch TV channels. If you miss any part of the show, we podcast every single hour in our Connecticut cast, presented by Connecticut Quality Water Systems of Southwest Florida. Best damn water the two of us have ever had. That's why we've been customers for combined 30-plus years. Connecticut, 908-2300.
Someone going with air on a comebacker is the number 4 way for a walk-off.
Okay.
I'm just continuing that. You mentioned the end of the FGCU game, and we're giving you boring endings of baseball games. It was a walk-off walk which David said is only slightly more exciting than a walk-off balk.
You threw in the walk-off hit by pitch.
Which I don't know if that would be more exciting than the walk-off walk. I think it's far more exciting than the walk-off balk.
Yeah, I'll put it number 2. I'll put the walk-off walk at number 3. Slightly more exciting than the hit by pitch.
Just because there's more pitches, and you might have a full count.
Yeah.
Little anticipation.
Yeah, there's a little build-up, I guess. To
there
the
at
walk.
least there's an anticipation of ball 3.
Yes.
But, David, we got a text this morning, and actually late yesterday. There's nothing that I enjoy more than the middle of the day evening text about the show, which is why you bring up the Connecticut Cast. A lot of people now listen when they want to listen, not when we tell them to. That's the beauty of media in today's world. We spent time, David yesterday was talking about the fish sticks that he likes so well.
Yes, which are technically fish fingers.
And I didn't know about these fish sticks, and they're at Doc Ford's.
Right.
And David raved about said fish sticks.
For an appetizer, they're very filling, and they're good.
On that note, this was the text we received. Catching up on yesterday's third hour with the fish sticks. And I want to know if David's ever been to Fancy's. I don't think I've ever left there without leftovers. Definitely quantity and quality, so I figured it would be up David's alley. Now, first off, I find Fancy's to be one of the best restaurants down here. Love it. Love everything about it. Wife and I, big fans. I don't know if David's, I just want to go through a couple things here, because one, yes or no, have you been there?
Off the top of my head, no.
Because it's on Daniels. It's not too far from you. It's a Fort Myers place, so it's no Naples. But let's be honest, everybody. Let's break this down. And thank you for the text. Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text line, 249-8167. Let's start with the name of the restaurant. Name of the restaurant's Fancy's. That in and of itself made David's left hand shake just a little bit when I said Fancy's. So without knowing what Fancy's is, it's already on the no list because the name says fancy. And David, when you think restaurants, I don't really think you think fancy.
No.
But
I don't.
To this person's point, quality and quantity.
Okay.
I'm just telling you. Don't be afraid of the name, David. Big food. Delicious food.
Okay.
So, but I figured no Fancies for you because I thought perhaps the name by itself would scare you off. And I know we have a mutual friend who you dine with occasionally, and it's kind of almost halfway in between. It's kind of over close to where the Stevies and the Rusties and that whole thing is, a little bit west of that on Daniels. But I figured maybe you would meet someone there, and without encouragement, you wouldn't make it.
Well, there's also, I don't ever allow for a doggy bag. I mean, that's the other thing.
Look, no one here, at least not me, is agreeing with this man's statement that you would leave with leftovers.
No.
He is merely saying that he always leaves with leftovers.
Right.
David, I've never left there with leftovers.
Yeah, no.
My wife has.
Well, sure.
She's small.
Right. Yeah, my wife is, continuously brings a little something home for the fridge, right, to be reheated the next day. Yeah, I believe that's absurd. I mean, we're here. We'll just take care of business. I mean, that's just, they're giving us a meal. I'm going to eat the entire meal. I mean, I'm not sitting down with the intention of, well, I'll eat half and bring the other half home.
And I'll have the rest for lunch tomorrow. No, I came here for dinner.
Right. I may come back here for lunch tomorrow, but I'm starting anew.
In fact, if I want 2 meals here, I may just stay long enough to order another one.
Right. Exactly. I may let the lunch settle and order dinner, but I am not taking anything home. But we were just talking about appetizers, not main courses yesterday. We were just, and just, oh, by the way, for less than $10, here you go. Here's a little something to throw out there in which you get both quality and quantity. That's all. Kind of a hidden gem of an appetizer.
No arguments for me. I love Doc Ford's. I think it's a great spot.
So that's all.
I just liked it when you went fish sticks on me. I didn't know what the hell you were talking about. That's all it really was.
I mean, they're not called fish sticks; they're fish fingers. But I mean, that's not a whole lot different than sticks. I mean, they're really not. But anyway, 249-8167, 249-8167 on the Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text line.
Just trying to keep the plate full in front of you, because you know what's going to happen now. We're going to get 67 texts of places where you get a lot of bang for your buck.
Well, remember, this is, don't tell me about main courses. This was simply an appetizer reference. This was an under $10 appetizer reference. That's all this was. Of course, every restaurant, in theory, fills you up. Okay?
Ooh.
I said in theory. Some are fancy, and then, the pretty plates and all that, and the nice design. That's great. That's not for me. I mean, I'm a quantity guy. I'm a volume guy. So, that's where I go. But this was just a little, hey, while you're here, all right, just this appetizer is a little different than most.
I did not hear anything, David, from Doc Ford's that they ran out of fish sticks, which was my intention. I wanted everybody in there ordering fish sticks and confusing the hell out of them.
Miller and Moulton.
A little hoop and a little baseball still coming up, and plenty of your texts. Miller and Moulton, Fox Sports Radio, streaming at foxsportsfm.com.
You're clear.
The Dear Happy Show.
Brought to you by Hardee's.
We've got Melissa on the line.
Hey, Happy. My kids have baseball practice on Saturday mornings, but it's my only day to sleep in.
Well, break it to them early that they're not going to make the majors.
But I don't want to crush their dreams.
That's fair. Then why don't you swing by Hardee's on the way and get the new BFC Frisco breakfast sandwich with a crispy wheel of cheese inside, so everyone's morning can be super.
Okay.
Call in next time at 1-833-HI-HAPPY.
Available for a limited time only at participating Hardee's restaurants.
Feed your happy. The Dear Happy Show.
Brought to you by Hardee's.
Yeah, chicken and waffles is amazing. Not going to lie.
I'm applying for a mortgage, and I'm debating a 15-year or a 30-year rate.
Forget about the property ladder. Get on the burger ladder.
What?
The new BFC Angus Thick Burger from Hardee's has a crispy wheel of cheese on top.
You're right. As long as I have a good burger, I'll always have a place to call home.
Exactly. Call in next time at 1-833-HI-HAPPY.
Available for a limited time only at participating Hardee's restaurants.
Feed your happy.
Sometimes we just gotta take a moment.
That's what we gotta do.
Take that deep breath.
Take a breath and relax.
I'm very relaxed. And say, damn, we're living our best life.
Yes.
From the MLB.
Deep left center field. This one's got a chance. Gone!
To the NFL.
Touchdown! 83 yards!
To the NBA. We're all laughing and just living and loving all of this.
Love it.
On Fox Sports Radio.
Somebody get a tree.
For professional roofing, the name you need to know is D.R. Martineau.
You know who I am.
You can count on us for great service. You can count on us to get it done. You can count on us for a price that's fair. And quality is second to none. For professional roofing, the name you need to know is D.R. Martineau.
WFSX AM from Naples to Cape Coral and all of Southwest Florida. 94.1 Fox Sports Radio.
We are Fox Sports.
What's trending now on Fox Sports Radio is sponsored by Estate Roofing in Naples. Online at estateroofing.com.
Whoa. There's only one way to wake up in the morning.
Love that the dad's laughing.
How the heck are you?
Yep. That's it. Miller.
Shelter from the storm, huh?
And Moulton.
Yeah. Sounds like a song.
Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
All guests appear on the Goldberg Noon Abraham Hotline. Goldberg-law.com.
Yes! Oh, I like it. It's up to you now. It's up to you. I like it.
Now, the best local sports show this town has ever heard. Here's Miller and Moulton.
You're live. Nearly 2 minutes past 7 o'clock on this Wednesday morning edition of Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for being with us. Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio. NBA legend Sam Jones, kind enough to join us an hour from now. Sam, along with Rick Barry, Nate Archibald, Phil Chenier, coming to town in less than 3 weeks. It's Monday, March 16th. Circle it, put it on your calendar. Head to Bo Campers in Naples. That's where they're going to be. Do a little meet and greet from 4 until 6. Nice of them to come to town. They're also going to raise some money for a good veterans cause, and we'll talk with Sam coming up 1 hour from now. Seth Everett to join us a little less than an hour and a half from now. It's our weekly visit. Goodness knows what we will kick around. But I had teased a story. Very Entertainment Tonight of me to tease it early and then get to it much later on. So we're near the end of the half-hour mark, if you will, on Entertainment Tonight. Have you ever been to Seattle?
No.
It has an old mass transit system. And driving around there, like most major cities, I mean, there's a decent amount of traffic, and people kind of grumble about it. So they use mass transit there, and you can get to both where the Mariners play and the Seahawks play, and the two stadiums are literally, catty corner from one another there, actually side by side. And you can get there by mass transit. It's $3 from the airport. And the times I've been there, I actually use it. I like it. I did not realize this, but the expansion Seattle NHL team that is coming in a couple years. You guys had to go through a little something this with the Everblades when you're building the arena, and there are going to have to be some improvements made to the I-75 and off ramps and all that. Well, the team has agreed to pump nearly $10 million into the city's mass transit system to whatever upgrades are needed for where the new arena is going to be and what have you. Let us know what the bill is. We got it covered. That's number one.
Okay.
But here's the number two part, which very few franchises have ever done. They're going to pay for your subway ride to and from the games.
Oh, you're in love. It's your new favorite franchise.
Season ticket holders, and for that matter, individual game tickets. I'm assuming what they're doing is you're going to bring your receipt, your little card there. It says $3, and when you show up with your ticket, and then they're going to, okay, $3. There you go. Here's your $3. Thanks for coming.
Doesn't sound like a logistical nightmare to me at all.
Well,
I'd rather go with the raise and not take cash than be handing people $3 for their subway fee. But it's a nice effort. I'm not
just saying that this is what they're doing for the fans. Whatever improvements are needed, and the subway system in Seattle, I guess, goes back to when they hosted the World's Fair in '62. So the subway system is not recent. It's 60 years old, basically. And so it's in need of some repair. So they're paying between $7 and $10 million for improvements that are made at what's going to be their stop. And then they're going to pay fans coming to the game, to encourage you, I think, to use the mass transit because there's already enough cars on the roads. Hey, a little something for the effort here. We'll pay your way.
You're such a fan.
Yes!
This makes your day.
Yes, I am!
Anything that has to do with free parking in some way, shape, or form.
Well, but also, come on now. Teams are criticized, and rightfully so. They're oftentimes greedy. They oftentimes take advantage of the fans or take us for granted, etc. I think this franchise is to be applauded for, hey, you know what? You're going to use the mass transit system to come to our games. We're very thankful. So much so, here, we're going to pay for it.
I'm just happy they didn't name the team the Seattle Monorail.
Well, it might be up for bid someday. Might be up for bid. I don't know. I think that's cool.
I do too. By the way, they anticipate about 25% of their fans will use the public transportation to get to and from their games. So that obviously eases quite a burden.
Yeah. And if, you got about an 18,000 seat arena or what have you, 4,000 or so, and they're having to pay, they don't have to, goodness knows.
More money for coffee at the games.
There you go. Insert joke here. So that's all.
I like it. I like it.
A team doing a little something for its fan base.
Another thing that nobody likes, or maybe they do, but it's certainly, to me, going to make golf more interesting this year, is Patrick Reed. Because last week I talked about it. Peter Kostis, in a podcast, the No Laying Up podcast, called Patrick Reed a cheater. Make no bones about it. He said that he watched him 4 different times improve his lie during a tournament. Now, Kostis has taken some heat from some people because he only once on CBS hinted around that being done and uses this opportunity to say it. That's odd.
Well, and I know when I read it, that was my thought, but we also have found out that, listen, there's not a whole lot of negative golf coverage from the media. We've made fun of the NBA media for being lapdogs. PGA Tour media is right up there.
Oh, absolutely.
Right up there. You want to talk about a thin-skinned group of athletes. Tour golfers.
Well, and it's interesting, too, because the golf fan gets really ticked off when a golf analyst is critical. Johnny Miller was hated. Hated by everybody. Universally. Nobody seemed to like Johnny Miller doing it because Johnny was arrogant, and Johnny talked about guys choking and covered golf differently than anybody had covered it before. And people didn't like it.
Right. Well, it's because...
And then what's his face at the Golf Channel?
Brandel Chambly.
Brandel Chambly.
Takes a lot of heat.
Hated because he makes very strong opinions. Well, Kostis said that Patrick Reed cheated. This isn't a strong opinion. He called the man a cheater.
Now, he didn't use the word, but he described instances in which, he is strongly implying that this is cheating, even though he was never called on
Yeah,
it.
he never said cheating, but he said he put about 4 or 5 irons behind the club, and when I got there, it was a shot you couldn't get a sandwich on, and he managed to hit a 3-wood from that. That's calling a guy a cheater. You're right. Never used the word, but trust me, he's telling everybody in golf that he cheated.
And this is a player who, when he was in college, was accused of cheating, and in fact was kicked off of one
team. That was for stealing. But he was accused there, and then he stole things.
Right. And a bad teammate and was accused of being a cheater while in college, and it followed him from Georgia to Georgia State. Or was it Augusta State?
Augusta State.
Gotcha.
And then Patrick Reed, right after, this comes out on Wednesday. Patrick Reed, what did he shoot, 62 on Thursday?
Yeah, he went low.
He just tears it up, makes 8 birdies the next day. Proceeds to end up winning the tournament. Bryson DeChambeau, public enemy in golf number 2 behind Patrick Reed, defends Reed and just kind of says something along the lines that they're kind of kindred spirits. I get where he's at because people have come after DeChambeau for his slow play, and he's not very well liked by the golfing public right now. So they've formed this bond.
Well, then maybe Reed now will have somebody to play with him in Ryder Cups going forward.
Possibly. But, one of the things that I saw, and that wasn't true, but a meme that came out early Monday had a picture of Patrick Reed that said, "Tell Peter Kostis I'm just improving my bank account."
Right.
And while we know that Patrick Reed didn't say that, there aren't any of us that could prove without a shadow of a doubt that if he read it, he wouldn't go, "Damn, I wish I'd have said that."
Exactly.
And because that's the best part about Patrick Reed, whether you like the guy or you're like most of us who really find him, boy, at best an interesting story, at worst a really weird cat. It's hard for me not to enjoy him winning right after that comes out. Because this makes a little bit more sport of it, if you know what I mean.
It also shows the mentality of the golf fan. See, most sports like a villain. Most fan bases like somebody to wear the black hat. A golf fan doesn't. A golf fan has been conditioned to everyone is nice. We like everybody, some more than others. But we don't dislike anyone.
Well, and we especially like Patrick Reed for the Captain America. Even though we lost that Ryder Cup, him shushing the European crowd is something, as Americans, we went, yeah, that's one of ours right there. And Ian Poulter's always kind of been their guy, who,
right?
He's their villain over here, and he just comes over in the Ryder Cup and might not have played any good golf in 6 months and manages to make 18 birdies over the course of 4 days. But
Reed's story, I do think part of why Reed is not embraced by the golf fan is his personal story. You know, this is something that I think, I don't know if relate is the right word, but it's something that we're not usually on the same level as athletes, but Reed's personal / family situation, we all have our own family dynamics, but how many families have a dynamic in which the kids and the parents literally stop talking to one another? The siblings stop talking to one another. The one member of the family gets married, and essentially divorces themselves from the rest of the family.
It's interesting because the person he's most like to me on a lot of different levels is Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, there's a connection there.
Huge similarities. Rodgers has disassociated himself with his family by and large. He's, I think Aaron's a lot smarter than Patrick Reed because Patrick Reed's wife runs his life. Aaron seems to think for himself. I mean, that would be, I would separate that right there. But the family dynamic to me is eerily similar.
And so I do think that's part of why, because when you really think about it, I mean, here's a guy who ended up playing at Augusta State.
And won a national championship there after getting thrown off the team at the University of Georgia.
And who did they beat in the finals?
Georgia.
And he played great in the finals also.
He is one of the, and that's the other thing. Everything you say is so true. But most people in that profession would fold like a cheap suit with the immense amount of pressure from the outside that is on him, and he revels in it.
Yeah.
And I find that I find the story fascinating. I find the guy to be a jerk. I don't know if I'd want to spend 5 seconds with Patrick Reed. There's not a whole hell of a lot that I like about him. But the fact that the more they come after him...
Except his game.
Damn right. Because you keep coming after him, and he has no problem sticking his middle finger up at everybody and winning.
He has no problems wearing the black hat in an entire tour that I don't know if there's anybody else who's wearing it. Because I don't think DeChambeau's wearing the black hat. All right?
No, he's wearing the scarlet letter more than he's wearing the black hat.
Right. It's like, dude, come on. Move this along.
Move this along. I know all your clubs are the same size. Shut up and hit the ball. Is what most
right.
And
we get it. You think more than most of us. Well, do the thinking in between shots. I don't know what to tell you. Let's go. Let's move this sucker along.
But Patrick Reed has a little bit of the, just the angry young man in him. And he's not that young anymore. And he's still pretty angry.
He's not that young anymore. I mean, please, he's still in his 20s, isn't he?
I thought he was 30 now.
Oh no.
But no, I mean, usually we become less angrier. That's all.
I get it.
He's been out there for a few years. And he still seems every bit as angry today as when he first got on tour. That's all. I mean.
Now, see, I'm different than most people. Like, when it was Reed and DeChambeau down the stretch, in most sports, a commentator could have fun with this. The whole, I don't know if anybody's rooting for either one of these guys, something like that. That could be said in other sports, but you can't. it's not that you can't say it, it's that no one will say it covering golf. There is no negativity when it comes to golf coverage. And when there is, you are almost universally disliked. Johnny Miller could get away with it because of his resume. I mean, it is the biggest. What's the biggest knock on Brandel Chamblee?
Never won enough. Never won anything.
Who the hell are you?
Right. And even though he played on tour for a while
and
was
won.
Was a good player, but
he was a solid tour player. I mean, he was not a good tour player, but he earned a living on the PGA Tour. And you think about it, you got to be one of the 100 best in the world to earn a living on a PGA Tour. I mean, that's an amazing accomplishment. But what is the biggest knock on Brandel Chamblee? Heck, from the people who are sitting on the set with him.
Thank you.
I mean, David Duval and Frank Nobilo look at Brandel Chamblee like, who the hell are you, dude, to be saying any of this? And when Chamblee brought it up with Duval one time on air, Duval said, you're damn right. I don't think you have any place to be able to say what you're saying. I mean, Duval said, I don't think you were good enough to say what you're saying.
Right. Right. He won one tournament on tour. He made more than $4 million over 15 years. That's not a bad living for the age that he is.
No, it's not at all.
And he is thought of. I mean, and you right now is where I guarantee you there are hundreds of golf fans in their car right now.
But there are also some, and I like the fact that he is willing to say what he says and he stands by his convictions. And when people have proven him wrong, he's eaten his crow. I applaud him for that. And my feeling is, thank God there's a Brandel Chamblee on the Golf Channel. Thank God. Because otherwise, there's be so much maple syrup that I don't know if I could continue to digest this French toast. And I love French toast. I mean, at some point in time, you need a little spice. So I'm glad that there he is. But there are a lot of people that are very critical. And to me, when it was DeChambeau with the lead and Patrick Reed chasing him down, I mean, you could have had a lot of fun with that commentary.
Yes. Yes, you could.
But Peter Kostis also got taken to task by Phil Mushnick of the New York Post, because Kostis in that podcast also went after CBS and the PGA Tour for being let go. And Kostis said that the PGA Tour dictated to CBS that he be let go, and that the PGA Tour wants just complete, promotion. They want it to be an infomercial.
They want a partner.
And that Kostis was, the reason the PGA Tour was not a big fan of Peter Kostis was that when guys won tournaments, particularly first-time winners, Kostis thought about what it does for you. Gives you an exemption on tour, gets you into majors. Kostis, I'm not thinking about the Schwab Cup and the FedEx points. I mean, I'm sorry. That's not, it's third, fourth, fifth on the list. This is game-changing because it gives you exemptions. It gets you into majors.
And the exemption more than the majors for the players is the biggest thing. The relief of knowing for 2 years that you can make your own schedule, go where you want to go, play the courses that you're comfortable at, it is a big relief for these guys. And Kostis is right when he says that. But they want to know how many FedEx Cup points it is and how far that shoots them up to FedEx.
Right. And so Kostis said that's why the PGA Tour was not a big fan of me, because I didn't talk about the FedEx Cup and the Schwab Cup enough. And that's why they got rid of me. And Phil Mushnick said, dude, you're 73. You had a run of over 30 years. All right. Besides, I don't know that you were, great at what you did either. I mean, the last 10 years, you pretty much said, he's got a good lie and the putt's going to break to the right. I mean, come on now. Be a little more grateful. And this is a guy who criticizes networks all the time. And he basically said to Kostis, hey, you had a good run. Shut up.
Well, and that's the other thing. I mean, I know golf's an old audience, but at some point you might have to freshen up the booth just a little bit. Poll question today stems from David's Well, control of his hotel room. Once he gets in, it's his and nobody else's. Only way he gets towels is meeting housekeeping at the door.
Right.
Stay out.
Yeah.
So our poll question stems from that. Do you let housekeeping in your hotel room to clean, or are you like David and don't let anyone in your room? So far, almost 2/3 of you have your room cleaned. There are a lot of people on your side. Dave, I'll tell you, it's at 63.3% right now. If I said it was going to get to 66.7%, would you go over and under on this? We're right there, hovering at 2/3 get their room cleaned.
So once again, I'm not in touch with the audience.
Well, you had to know that with this one.
No, actually, I didn't at all.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, usually when people are traveling, they like to be left alone. At least that's my observation.
It is. There's no doubt.
Apparently it's not a correct one.
Well, it's correct to you. I bet you Patrick Reed doesn't let anybody in his room.
There you go. Or his wife doesn't. She's the one running things.
Well played, David. Well played.
Miller and Moulton. Thanks so much for listening. Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
The self-awareness with Zion. To me, this is a star. This is a guy that I can put in front of the cameras for 20 years. Zion is so uniquely explosive with a nice touch. He's going to overcome the other stuff.
No.
Everybody's looking for the perfect player. They don't exist. Michael
An
Jordan
Olympics
was a ball
coronavirus.
Colin Cowherd. Weekdays at noon on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
Get your tickets now. Naples All-Star Events presents the Legends of Basketball. Meet and greet Monday, March 16th from 4 to 6 p.m. at Bo Camper Sports Bar and Grill. See NBA All-Stars Nate Archibald, Rick Barry, Phil Chenier, and Sam Jones. Your exclusive access not only includes the Hall of Famers, but an appetizer buffet, prizes, and more. A portion of the proceeds to benefit Veterans Healthcare. Meet and greet the Legends of Basketball March 16th at Bo Camper Sports Bar and Grill. Get your tickets at NaplesAllStarEvents.com.
Have you or someone you know been taken advantage of or preyed upon by storm chasers who are out of the area contractors? Well, you're not alone. Hi, this is PJ, owner of Estate Roofing. With over 20 years of experience, I'm committed to quality products with outstanding service. I personally visit all the job sites, making sure every customer gets high-quality work done on time. Shingle, tile, or metal, we do it all. We're an Owens Corning preferred contractor with an impeccable track record. We understand the value of educating customers so you know what you're buying every step of the way. Having issues with getting your insurance claims paid? We'll help you manage insurance companies to get you paid or help you with financing if needed. Call me today to get a free 20-watt solar attic fan with your new roof. Call me at 692-9732. That's 692-9732. Or visit us online at estateroofing.com. That's ESTATE roofing.com. Estate Roofing. Roofing redefined.
If a car dealer asks you for your tax refund, don't do it. If you've made a deposit, get it back. Gotta go to Galliana. Other dealers want your tax refund at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Fort Myers. We don't need it. Right now, during the President's Day event, new Jeep Renegade Latitude, $189 per month. New Grand Cherokee Laredo, $269 per month. New Jeep Gladiator Sport 4x4, $279 per month. Over 1,100 Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, and Rams. All at the absolute best prices in Southwest Florida. Qualifying purchases with 0 down and no monthly payments till August. That's right, 0 down and no monthly payments till August. And exclusive of that offer, Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Fort Myers will give you $6,000 minimum for any trade, in any condition, running or not, at Galliana Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 1/2 mile south of Daniels Parkway on US 41 in Fort Myers. Open every day, including Sunday. Call 239-481-2600. GallianaCars.com. 42 monthly, 10,000 miles per year, $999. Do it signed plus tax, stock, and dealer fees. 0 security deposit with lender approval. Minimum trade toward the purchase of select new vehicles. In stock units only. Offers don't combine.
I'm a busy person. Catch the show anytime. Check out MillerandMoulton.com and subscribe to the daily podcasts.
Southwest Florida is home to some of the finest boating and fishing waters in the United States, and there's no better place to see all the boats, accessories, gear, and gadgets than at the 31st Annual Bonita Springs Boat Show, March 5th through the 8th at the Naples-Fort Myers Greyhound Track. Hundreds of boats from more than 20 dealers, representing over 70 boat lines. It's Southwest Florida's biggest springtime boat show. There's a boat for every budget and every need. From fishing to cruising to just taking it easy on the water. Plenty of marine accessories, engines, electronics, boat lifts, services, and how-to boating info. We're heading into the best boating time of the year. Time for you to get out on the water. And the Bonita Springs Boat Show is the place to get started. Thursday, March 5th through Sunday the 8th at the Naples-Fort Myers Greyhound Track, Bonita Beach Road between I-75 and US 41. Visit GoBoatingFlorida.com for complete details.
Did you know that King Roofing has expert dedicated repair crews to troubleshoot roof problems? They can fix everything from tree damage to broken tiles and, of course, roof leaks. Do you have a leak or water stains or tile damage? Call King Roofing, a roofing company with the right team to repair it. King Roofing, experienced in roof repair for over 40 years.
License number CCC 057279.
Every castle deserves a king.
Here we go. Now back to Miller and Moulton. No. This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
Nearly halfway home on this Wednesday, Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio. Streaming, foxsportsfm.com, broadcasting live, many a place, including on the Miller and Moulton YouTube and Twitch TV channels. Sam Jones to join us coming up at the top of the hour. He, along with Rick Berry, Nate Archibald, Phil Chenier, coming to Naples on Monday, March 16th for a little meet and greet as they're billing it, and take photos and autographs and talk about the good old days. Sam Jones to join us at the top of the hour. Seth Everett an hour from now to talk baseball, and then goodness knows where we'll go, like maybe get Seth to vote on our poll question. Do you let housekeeping into your hotel room to clean, or are you like me and you don't let anyone in your room? And some have wondered, you don't get towels? No, I get towels. And I walk in and I tell the front desk, hey, I need towels. And I go up to the room and somebody shows up and they hand me towels. And I say, thank you very much. But I don't let anybody in the room. Doesn't matter if I'm staying 1 day, 2 days, 7 days. I don't let anyone in the room. So that's how I voted right now. 56% of you.
You're winning people over, David. Every single segment, they're coming to your side.
You know.
The dirty room side.
Cindy Boren of the Washington Post is kind enough to join us. You can follow Cindy on Twitter at Cindy Boren. Cindy, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. I'm sorry I missed a voting opportunity, though. Anyway.
Oh, no. Plenty of time. That's where Cindy, that's where I was going. This all started that David, my co-host here, said that when he goes to a hotel room, whether it's one night or 7 nights, no one's in the room. And I'm like, one of my favorite things about a hotel is coming back to a freshly made bed, some nice towels, clean in my room. I want them in there every day. Where are you? You travel, you do this for a living. Where are you with the hotels?
I used to be you, but now I agree. I don't need fresh linens every day just because, ecologically, I just don't, it's not responsible. So that's where I am.
See? No one's in the room.
Although I would like a chocolate. I do like a chocolate.
Yeah, Cindy, they can use the same sheets. I just want them to make my bed for me. Turn it down, put a little chocolate on it.
Yes. All right. Yes, I'm with you on that. And leave the chocolate, most important.
Well, we're being lighthearted here, but there is a serious issue that's out there, and I think we're now in this country beginning to maybe talk about this for the first time. You know, Cindy, the Olympics are in Tokyo, and there's this problem that's in and around Tokyo, which is the coronavirus. How big of an issue is this gonna be?
Well, I don't think anyone knows right now. The CDC has indicated that, it will be coming to America. But let's, just kind of keep this as a global matter. And the Olympics, which is what I was writing about yesterday, there are already ramifications for sports, for Olympics. The Olympic qualifying events are beginning to take place. There are some involving teams that, I think a Chinese team is playing South Korea for an Olympic berth in soccer, I believe, and they're playing in Australia because they can't get back. They can't get back home to play it there. It's already having an effect. There are games in Italy where it's really hitting hard right now that are going to be played, soccer games that are going to be played in empty stadiums. So, the Olympic Committee is taking a look at its options the way sports leagues do. And, they look at the weather, they look at all sorts of things that could cause them to change their schedule. And the Olympic Committee is looking at, a what-if scenario if this grows into a global pandemic.
Well, and obviously I understand the going in the what-if, but to me, and maybe I'm being a little bit on a very optimistic side, I remember before Rio, we were freaked out about the water, then the Zika, and then, there were 47 reasons why we should have never even had any games in Rio, and not even to mention the crime and all the other things. I don't think they fixed any of the problems there. I still think we have the Zika virus. I still think we have water problems, and I still think there's a lot of crime in Rio. They had the games, and they went off largely without a hitch, didn't they, Cindy?
They did, and they were wonderful games. I think basically this was Dick Pound, who has been a member of the International Olympic Committee since the late 1970s, and he was just saying, putting forth a time frame. They have to. The window they have is 3 months, and presumably in 3 months we'll know exactly what this virus is going to do, where it will be, and what impact it's going to have, on the global economy. There are questions about that. So they'll know more, but they're looking at the end of May, and then the bigger question is, if the Olympics couldn't go on in July, the end of July, what would they do? Would they cancel? Would they move them, to a different locale, or would they move them on the calendar? And he seemed to be saying moving them on the calendar or to a different city. Really, those really aren't feasible options. So, possibly cancellation. But again, that's all down the road. It's just interesting to know what they're thinking.
Talking with Cindy Bourne of the Washington Post, the Olympics are scheduled for July 24th to August 9th in Tokyo of this year. The only major, obviously we had Katrina, which forced a Super Bowl to be moved from New Orleans to Miami, but there was a Women's World Cup, right, that got moved to the United States about 10 or 12 years ago. That was also, I think it was scheduled for Asia, and I don't know if it was an outbreak or a tsunami or something, but it caused, and the United States had to kind of step in on an hour's notice and host a Women's World Cup. So, we have had, catastrophes, calamities that have forced something like this before, but obviously it's few and far between.
And this is such a larger scale, 11,000 athletes. There's also the Paralympics afterward, which is, another 4,500 or so athletes. And that doesn't even take into account the media and all the other stuff that goes on. From my perspective right now, I think it's probably the Tokyo problems are probably more likely to be related to climate, with the heat from, there have already been questions about the temperatures, moving the marathon, things like that. But, again, it's just sort of sobering, and you do want to know, what is the plan? When there's so much uncertainty, you want to know who's looking at this and what are they thinking and what is the plan, and that's where we are.
Well, there's no doubt that you have to be cautious. They said there's a 3-month window to cancel the Olympics, which those words, I think, have everybody very worried. They say a 3-month window, but if it passes that, if all of a sudden we get to the end of May and the coronavirus is still there and maybe strengthening, could it be past that 3-month window? Isn't that the question we're all trying to figure out right now, Cindy?
Yeah, it sure is. What if everything's fine until mid-May or the third week in May, and then it ramps up at the end of June? I would think they would they would have to reassess the situation at that point.
Cindy, appreciate your time and your insight, and we will register your vote for you.
And we'll send the chocolates.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, please do.
Did you hear the excitement there?
Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Cindy Boren of the Washington Post. You can follow her on Twitter at Cindy Boren, Boren.
I need a trade with Norman Love.
I was just going to say, I was going to get that vote until the end. I feel like a politician or on the
You know what that was?
trail.
No. This was a caucus.
Okay.
I won her over to my side. She started out in your camp.
I was her first preference.
Yes,
but
and you didn't get enough delegates to get out of the room, and I won her back over with the chocolate.
Either that or I feel like Kentucky on the recruiting trail, and you just came in as Mullen or Kirby and came over the top. Because I had her until the chocolate on the pillow. That's unfair.
I think I'm gonna overspend because Cindy's been good to us over the years. I think it's time to go to Norman Love. Just get her a little 4-pack and have it show up at the Washington Post for Miller and Moulton. I think she would find that very nice.
I think she would as well. 249-8167. And especially I can
get you to sponsor a podcast if you want to trade me for that, Norman.
Especially, the question around the newsroom. So who's sending you chocolates?
Right, exactly.
Oh, it's my guys in Fort Myers. You have guys in Fort Myers?
Yes. Put it this way. You send chocolates to her, or if we do that, she'll never say no.
Well, that is true. That is true.
We will increase the female guests to the show immensely if we start sending chocolates. You might even get EA to say yes once in a while if we send chocolates around.
Listen,
word will get out on the street.
The only thing keeping EA off the show is the time difference. I mean, she lives on the West Coast.
Oh, I know.
I mean, this show is not in her wheelhouse, needless to say. 3 to 6 her time.
Well, people who like, her other show, we've had a couple of local people, whether it was American Idol or The Voice. I think we've had one on each, right? We had the girl on Idol years ago.
Right, who
finished third?
Was it Baby V?
Yeah. I think she finished like third.
Yeah, unfortunately, she was going up against Carrie Underwood.
And
I
then
think she would have won it.
And then didn't we have someone on The Voice that was from Port Charlotte recently that I think did reasonably well? Well, I'm aware of those people. I've never known anybody on any of these shows. Well, the other night, and I think I mentioned this a couple days ago, but the other night on The Voice, a kid that I knew, he's actually he's my best friend's cousin, was on and did well. And, 2 of the people turned around and he picked one of them. And it has been a riot watching social media and all the people's reactions that went to grade school or high school or whatever with him. And it is, we had a thing called academic track, David. I don't know if you had this in Jersey.
Academic track?
In junior high, in 7th and 8th grade, where you would go to another school and you would have the first half was competitions on math and, there was testing, like academic stuff. And the second half was more the arts. It was dance and music. And
I love Broadway.
Well, and it was so funny yesterday because a girl that I, just through Facebook, we've still kept in touch with one another, but I've not seen this person since high school. Nice person. I knew her dad. I know her brother. And she just simply posted. And I hadn't thought about this in years, but this kid obviously was a great singer then if you're on The Voice now. And he won. He sang Open Arms by Journey. And we were in the 8th grade. And all the girls, he had the long hair. And he was a good-looking kid. And we hated him.
Sure.
Because he could sing and all the girls loved him.
Of course.
And Kelly had said, she goes, I remember coming out in my raincoat and my galoshes to do Singing in the Rain. And then he comes out and she said, Don't Stop Believing. I'm like, didn't he do Open Arms? And she's like, you're right. It was Open Arms. And he killed that too. But it brought back memories of academic track. It was on my mind, all stemming from this guy and just seeing all these posts of what people sang. I laughed yesterday afternoon thinking of just how stupid that was. But it was the only time that I've sang in public. And I remembered that me and 3 other guys did Happy Trails. Of course, we said it was by Van Halen. Today was the day is next. Miller and Moulton, Fox Sports Radio, streaming at foxsportsfm.com. And you are looking live on our YouTube page, Miller and Moulton.
Drive home with the
You're
Doug
clear.
Gottlieb
Coming at
Show.
you with songs in 1
The
second.
Rockets beating
Okay.
the Celtics, their second big win over a title hopeful team since going completely selling out and going 6'6", 6'7" and under league. This is the next wave in basketball. It is here. That way, you can't win a title that way. That's not true. The Golden State Warriors did.
Doug Gottlieb, afternoons at 3 on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
Dr. Jim D. Raspino from C4MH in Frank's Garage today, talking about New Year's resolutions. It seems like every year we want to turn over a new leaf, right? We're going to eat healthier, we're going to get to the gym, and then come February 1st, what? Nothing? And most guys say, I just don't have any energy.
But guys, before you spend a ton of money on a gym membership and a personal trainer, go to C4MH.com. We have an express treatment program that will get you over $400 of blood tests, including total and free testosterone, and an in-office doctor consultation for only $45.
I'm a patient at C4MH, and it's safe, convenient, and affordable. Best part is, now I've got the energy to follow through with that New Year's resolution.
Exactly. Your workouts become super energized. Your $45 gets you information about the state of your body.
So guys, give yourself the gift of testosterone replacement therapy at C4MH.com. The leaders in low T care, and make your resolution this year a successful one.
This is Mark Miller for Tim Tracek Motors, and I'm with Wes Dobbins, a very satisfied Tim Tracek Motors customer.
Thanks, Mark. Over the past 20 years, my family and I have purchased at least 17 vehicles from Tim Tracek Motors. Everything from Beamers to town cars to Cadillacs to cars for our kids to the Toyota Avalon and Highlander that we currently own. We've always been impressed by the thoughtful, straightforward way that Tim and Matt do business. We especially appreciate that they're so picky about the quality of cars that they bring to the market. They have always stood behind their cars, and that's why we'll continue to be loyal Tim Tracek Motors customers.
Well, there you have it. Visit online at timmotors.com. That's timmotors.com, or call to set up an appointment at 275-7900. 275-7900. At Tim Tracek Motors, they are confident when you meet them, you'll agree that you've never been to a dealership like theirs before. Visit online at timmotors.com. That's timmotors.com, or call to set up an appointment at 275-7900. 275-7900.
Contact Miller and Moulton anytime. Call me Daddy. Save the Williamson Brothers Marine text and talk line to your contacts.
Who's got it better than us?
239-249-8167.
We are Fox Sports.
Cathedral Roofing Innovations. Now, Hurricane Irma was a long time ago, but believe it or not, well, problems with tile roofs, they continue to occur as a result. Now, many homeowners are just now feeling the effects of the hidden damage that occurred to their tile roof. Now, whether it's new leaks, cracked, unsecured tiles, these roofs are living on borrowed time. Now, tile roofs, by nature of their design, are susceptible to lift and powerful storms like hurricanes. When this occurs, your tile underlayment can be compromised, but you would not realize it until possibly years later. Now, with Cathedral Roofing Innovations, you get a great roofing company to inspect your roof for any damage, and just because you don't have leaks doesn't mean you don't have issues. Just go to cathedralroofingnaples.com. They are the tile experts in Naples, and they will start the inspection process right away. Just go to cathedralroofingnaples.com. Cathedralroofingnaples.com.
License number CCC 1331928.
This is a message for all men. Look, my family doctor said my ED was incurable. There was nothing anyone could do but perform surgery. My wife was supportive. She told me it wasn't important, and there were other things we could do. But deep down, I knew she was disappointed. I felt less of a man, less of a husband. I was embarrassed. I heard the ads for the Fort Myers Men's Clinic, and I thought to myself, how can the doctors at that clinic claim to resolve my erectile dysfunction in 15 minutes or less? So I called, made an appointment, my wife went with me, and let me say, my doctor was wrong. We have regained our intimacy. They can help. No matter your age or your condition, $99 for a doctor consultation and a test dose of the medication can help. Call now, 239-317-7777, 317-7777, 317-7777, or FortMyersMen'sClinic.com. And be sure to ask about the incredible Pulse ED, known to increase stamina, sensitivity, and even size.
Here we go. Now back to Miller and Moulton. No. This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
15 minutes before 8 o'clock on this Wednesday edition, the 26th of February. Heck, it's almost March. Although, remember, we got a 29th this year. Saturday is the 29th. It's a leap year. Got an extra day. Plan accordingly. 249-8167. 249-8167. Williamson Brothers Marine and Roofing text line. Kicking around a few things on this day. First time we talked coronavirus so far. Hopefully it's the last.
Hopefully it's the last.
Well, this week, though, it seems to be becoming a bigger story, so we'll see.
I got you. And that's why I brought up to Cindy the Zika virus.
Right.
Because we were not going to Rio. Nobody was. I mean, it's amazing that all of the athletes and the staffers and the people that had to go down, that they're still alive.
Okay. All right. But it does remind me, the last big scare that I recall, which turned out to be absolutely nothing, and it wasn't a health scare, it was going to affect us all, was Y2K. I mean, remember, the ball was going to drop and everything was going to stop working.
May 21st, 2016. Should the Rio Olympics be canceled or postponed? Forbes. CNN Traveler. Should the 2016 games be canceled because of the Zika virus? The Atlantic. Should the Olympics be postponed because of Zika? These were all there. Every one of these same thing was there 4 years ago.
Well, what can I tell you? It's a different virus.
Lighten up, Francis.
Well, I think you'd rather be guilty on the other side.
I get it. I understand. But I think this is much to do about nothing.
Yeah, I don't. People are dying. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's hope they can contain it. That's all I know. I mean, because otherwise it's a 2-week quarantine. Let's face it, we all can't get along with one another right now. Never mind if you start putting us in a 2-week quarantine. You want to talk about morale being low.
As long as you can be in here with me and we can stay on the air the whole time, I am in.
Well, I can do the show from my house.
Perfect.
But think about it. If married couples were forced to be together for 2 weeks, 2 weeks, no break, quarantine.
Just sounds like heaven to me, David.
I know it does. Well, you're married to one of the nicest people in the world. For you, it'd be phenomenal.
For her, it'd be hell.
I was going to say.
Absolute hell. Without any further ado, David, it's time for...
Yes, it is.
Miller and Moulton's Today Was the Day When, giving you the history of today's date so you're a beacon of useless knowledge around the office.
Useless, but a lot of fun to talk about.
This is Today Was the Day When, Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Quarantine 14 days with you. Never mind me.
Thank you, Prince Charming.
I was going to say, my wife's listening right now going, hey, Eve's not the only one in this boat. What, are you kidding me?
We start in I'll tell you what, for the record, February 26th, apparently, not much happened. Not a very big day historically.
Huh.
Kind of bummed me out. But here's what I got for you, David. 1930 in Manhattan, the first red and green traffic lights are installed. No idea what color they were before that, David.
Yeah, really.
1954, Michigan Representative Ruth Thompson introduces legislation to ban mailing obscene, lewd, or filthy rock and roll records. That's right.
When did this all start?
54.
Tipper Gore have anything to do with that or no?
Ugh, don't get me started.
Just behave.
I'm going to try. 1966, the reason you're listening to the other Sinatra is because this song, These Boots Are Made for Walking, climbed to #1 in America. And I like the song for whatever reason.
It was catchy. It was happy.
Well,
peppy.
And it's, and also it has the scene in Full Metal Jacket. This song always reminds me of that movie. And even though that's a, kind of a depressing movie,
Kinda?
The beginning of it with The Sergeant and the Thing is just terrific.
Kinda?
Well, very depressing.
I was going to
It's got
say.
great lines in it, though.
It
It's
does.
got terrific lines.
It does.
It's a very dark movie with just great one-liners throughout.
That's like saying Schindler's List is kind of depressing.
No. I mean, come on. I'm not going to go Seinfeld and make out during it, but... 1967, at the 9th Daytona 500, the first and only time a driver born outside the U.S. won the Great American Race, Mario Andretti, the winner in 67.
Arguably the greatest racer of all time.
Secretariat was bought for $5.7 million today in 1973. In 1975, we televised a kidney transplant on the Today Show.
Really?
That's what it says. The first televised kidney transplant. Before that, they were only on radio.
But boom. I have a question. Was there a second live? I mean, it says the first. I don't know that there's been a second.
David, I will pay attention every day going forward now for the second televised kidney transplant. I would have picked this song if I'd have saw it before These Boots Are Made for Walking, and I just bring it up because it is my favorite Eagles song. New Kid in Town was number 1 today in 1977. Thriller went number 1 today, the album. In 1983, it would stay there for 37 weeks.
Think about that. That's 9 months. Imagine an album nowadays being number 1 for 9 consecutive months.
Imagine an album with more than 2 songs you'd want to listen to. 1987, Michael Jordan sets the Bulls record with 58. And in 2017, Kurt Busch wins after Kyle Larson runs out of gas on the last lap. Jeffrey Earnhardt made NASCAR history, first ever fourth-generation driver to compete in the race.
What race was this?
The 500.
Oh, okay.
If you were born today, you share your birthday with Levi Strauss. Made a pretty good gene, David. 1929.
I'm with you. Was never a huge Levi's guy. Don't know why.
Were you a Lee or a Wrangler? Or were you the Sears tough guy?
Yeah, well, I
had a couple pair of those tough man jeans back in the day.
We bought what we could afford, but I think
a few patches on them.
I remember Wrangler more than anything.
Buffalo Bill Cody, born today in 1846. Herbert Henry Dow did great in chemicals, born today in 1866. The late, great Jackie Gleason, born today in 1916. Fats Domino in 1928. And if we've switched to song number 2, because I don't know, because YouTube, they don't let us put this out
Right,
there.
we can't listen to the music
No, we can't.
anymore.
Johnny Cash, born today in 1932. Mitch Ryder from Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels, born today in 45. Michael Bolton, the most overrated singer of all time, born today in 1953. And Marshall Falk, born today in 1973.
Michael Bolton is the Matt Kuchar of music.
No.
He just cashes checks.
No. No.
Never great, though.
No.
But
more of the Brandel Chambly.
Okay. All right.
I'm not doing that to Cooch.
Okay. Well, Cooch did have a big year last year where he won a couple times. But before that, I mean, Kuchar had, you count the number of wins basically on one hand that Matt Kuchar had.
I just think
he was just a walking ATM, though.
Absolutely.
All he did was cash.
I mean, that Michael Bolton, that's a bad time in our lives that became popular. And today was the day when, February the 26th.
That really is pretty uneventful.
Yeah, and I looked like a couple times. Like, am I missing something?
Hope we're not missing something big.
No, and I ticked off yesterday because yesterday was the day Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys, and I somehow missed it. And you are right. David and I discussed this before because I listened. Dan Patrick brought it up, and the number he had for the purchase price was completely wrong. He had it like 50, 60 million, and it was 140 million. I had to go look it up.
Right, and Jerry has told the story many times, but Jerry basically begged, borrowed, and stealed to come up with the money. I mean, he was completely in debt up to his eyeballs at the time that he purchased the Cowboys. I mean, it had to work, and it's part of why Jerry. And I don't believe that Jerry should be in the Hall of Fame. I think it's ridiculous that he is, and the fact that he got in ahead of so many other people that were deserving. I mean, for Jerry Jones to get in the Hall of Fame ahead of Jimmy Johnson is just, anyway. But Jerry, from a business standpoint, the reason that he pressed the envelope as hard as he did, in which the NFL had its deals and you couldn't go make your own deals, and Jerry was like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I mortgaged everything I had to buy this franchise. I need to start seeing a return on my investment, and my franchise is worth more than everybody else's, basically. So I'm making a deal with AT&T and Pepsi. I don't care who your deals are with. I know that the league's in bed with Coke. I don't know what to tell you. I'm making a deal with Pepsi. The signs are already up in my stadium. What are you going to do? Rip them out? It's my stadium. And basically, it forced the way that the NFL does business to change.
And he did. Yeah, he did it with soda. Did it with beer. I mean, he definitely changed an old boy network on how to make money.
Yes.
And that franchise is now worth $5.5 billion. And
he bought it for what?
$140.
Man. 30-something.
32.
There are many a Cowboys fan, though, that still hate him because of the way he handled the firing of Tom Landry. And if you think about it, could he have done it better?
Minute.
I guess so. But, you pay $140 million. You're everything you have, you put onto the table to buy something. You want to make a change at coach.
He bought the team, fired Landry, and held a press conference announcing Jimmy Johnson in this first day. Or second day.
Right. Fired Landry
so
on his first day.
I guess today he hired Jimmy Johnson, 32 years ago today.
Right. Fired Landry on a golf course.
But he did do it, it was face-to-face. That was part of the thing that...
Right. He drove out to the golf course, met him on the ninth green or whatever, and fired him. But what really hurt Jerry was the cameras were let in, and there's Tom Landry cleaning out his office, and it's all being videotaped. And Jerry could never get that moment back. Miller and Moulton. The legendary Sam Jones is next. Thanks for listening. Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
You're clear.
Get your tickets now. Naples All-Star Events presents the Legends of Basketball. Meet and greet Monday, March 16th from 4 to 6 p.m. at Bo Camper's Sports Bar and Grill. See NBA All-Stars Nate Archibald, Rick Barry, Phil Chenier, and Sam Jones. Your exclusive access not only includes the Hall of Famers, but an appetizer buffet, prizes, and more. A portion of the proceeds to benefit Veterans Healthcare. Meet and greet the Legends of Basketball, March 16th at Bo Camper's Sports Bar and Grill. Get your tickets at Naples All-Star Events.
We're simple people.
I'm an idiot.
And being simple means...
What?
You understand what we do.
Wait a minute.
24 hours a day.
There were some moments.
For 19 years straight.
It's a very weird time to be alive.
That's where we're at right now. Hit us up.
We give you the best sports and entertainment talk on your radio.
I'm trying to create a little bit of drama.
Imagine that.
And what I mean by that is...
This is Fox Sports Radio.
If you've been denied Social Security benefits, here's something you need to know. The law firm you choose makes a big difference. In fact, Morgan & Morgan wins more than the national average in recovering Social Security for clients that were denied. That means that when you hire our lawyers, you have a better chance of recovering than with the average lawyer. And that's a really big deal. If you were denied Social Security benefits, call us. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
Dial Pound Law on your cell. Pound Law, that's all. Offices, Fort Myers and Naples.
Rebound, score! The Everblades return home this Friday and Saturday night. On Friday, it's Canadian night, courtesy of TD Bank, and puck drops at 7:30. Log on to FloridaEverblades.com/239 for a special ticket and food package for $23.99. Saturday, puck drops at 7. Don't miss the world-famous Fur Circus Traveling Mascot Show, who will perform all night long. Tickets start at $10, just $10, and can be purchased at the Synovus box office at Hertz Arena by calling 948-PUCK or log on to FloridaEverblades.com. Everblades Hockey, score some fun.
WFSX AM from Naples to Cape Coral and all of Southwest Florida. 105.9 Fox Sports Radio.
We are Fox Sports!
What's trending now on Fox Sports Radio is sponsored by Stevie Tomato Sports Page in Naples, Fort Myers, and Cape Coral.
Got your caller.
Okay.
There's only one way to wake up in the morning.
How the heck are you?
Yep, that's it. Miller.
Shelter from the storm, huh?
And Moulton.
Yeah, sounds like a song.
Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
All guests appear on the Goldberg Noon Abraham Hotline. Goldberg-law.com.
Yes! Oh, I like it. It's up to you now. It's up to you. I like it.
Now, the best local sports show this town has ever heard. Here's Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
Couple minutes past 8 o'clock on this Hump Day edition of Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio. Seth Everett to join us for his weekly chat in about 25 minutes' time. It is a pleasure and an honor to welcome our next guest, one of the 50 greatest NBA players of all time, a member of the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame. He, along with Bill Russell and company, had that run where they won 8 straight championships, and he won 10 championships in his 12-year career. He is Sam Jones, and he's joining Rick Barry and Nate Archibald and Phil Chenier, coming to Boat Campers in Naples on Monday, March 16th. We'll give away tickets to that event and tell you how you can go in a moment. But first, Sam, thanks so much for your time. How are you this morning?
Oh, good morning to both of you. I'm just feeling fine up here in St. Augustine. We got good weather, except just a little bit of rain.
Well, the same here in Southwest Florida, so we know how you feel.
One of my
Sam.
favorite cities, great spot, and we're looking forward to having in our neck of the woods. When you saw, Sam, we just had the Kobe Memorial, and we've seen this unbelievable outpouring of stories and support in the basketball community come together. When you see Bill Russell putting on a Kobe jersey, what does that tell you of Kobe's impact on the game?
Well, what people don't realize is that Russell and Kobe were very, very good friends. And I thought it was one of the greatest things that could happen because we knew what he did. Very successful coming out of high school at 18 years old and lasting for 20 years and being what he was. I thought it was great, and I think it was a great honor to have the man who won the most championships, 11 and 13 years, to wear and come there for Kobe Bryant and his family.
Sam, can you imagine, could you have played in the NBA coming out of high school? I mean, you were 6'4", which back in the, early to mid-50s there, I mean, you're a big guard. And obviously, you're one of the 50 greatest players of all time. And so, I mean, you were really good, but would you have been ready to play in the NBA coming out of high school?
No, I don't even think about it. In fact, I never thought about playing in the NBA. What people don't know is that I never saw a game until I played in the NBA. I didn't know anybody that was playing professional basketball. And to be drafted number 1 in the first round by the Boston Celtics from a Division II school, it's unheard of. It scared me to death. I mean, I was petrified, and I'm graduating from college. I had 2 years in the Army before I went to the Celtics. And I'm graduating from college, and I'm petrified to be drafted by the team who had just won their first World Championship. I wanted to go someplace else. I thought I would have a better chance.
What was playing in Boston like then? Because we know, the microscope's pretty tough on any Boston athlete. Was it as much so in your day or more so?
Well, first of all, you got to realize I'm from the South.
Right.
I know what segregation is. I expected more by going north because I had never been to Boston in my life. And I really expected more from those people, but I found out I was never called any bad names in Boston the whole time I was there. It could be luck. I don't know all the way I am. I'm just a person. I'm a people's person. And so I got along with everybody. And if somebody didn't like me, well, that's their problem. That's not my problem. And I was married when I went there, and my wife was very, very light-skinned. In fact, she could have passed for white. Coming out of North Carolina, they should have known that they didn't allow mixed marriages. But a lot of people don't know about history. So, but I still got along fine. So I love Boston, and the only reason I left Boston is because of the weather. That was the only reason. But no.
Well,
I know a few of those all around here right now, Sam. You're not the first guy that left Boston to come to Florida because of the weather.
Right.
And I live in St. Augustine. It's a little bit chilly up here, but I love the whole state of Florida. I'm 86 years old, and I don't want to leave it.
He's Sam Jones, won 10 NBA championships during his legendary 12-year career. He's joining Rick Barry, Nate Archibald, Phil Chenier, and it's a legendary event. It's called Meet the Legends, and it's at Bo Campers in Naples. It's 2 weeks from Monday. It is March 16th, so it's the day after Selection Sunday. Easy for you to remember on your mental calendar. You can go to NaplesAllStarEvents.com, NaplesAllStarEvents.com for more information and for tickets, and we will give away some tickets coming up in just a bit. Were you there for the legendary story, and, is it true that you guys are practicing hard and Russell's sitting in the stands of the Garden with his legs hanging over some seats reading the paper, and the practice isn't going well, and Auerbach blows the whistle, and you guys come over and he asks what's going on, and somebody says, well, we're running, and then Russell's sitting there reading the paper, and Red calls Russell over and basically says to all of you, he's Bill Russell. He plays by different rules. Bill, go back to reading the paper. Now, you got to keep running sprints.
I love the way you say that. Listen, Russell did not like to practice. But the one thing I can say about Bill Russell, he never missed a practice. And why he was reading the paper is because when he went on the floor, he blocked every shot. Now, you can't block my jump shot 15 feet away from the basket. But he would not let the ball go in, so we had a terrible practice. Kuz shooting the ball from 20 feet, and he wouldn't let the ball go in. So Red would take his butt off the court, put him on the sideline, and he would read the paper. No, and people may misjudge that. No, he came to practice every day. He didn't miss a practice. But by not liking the practice, he just blocked every shot, and it was not right. We got angry with Russell. So we'd ask Red, get him out of here. We need to have a good practice. And so we did that for many, many years. It didn't bother me. It bothered me at first because I wanted to see him running like we did.
Hey, we always hear, one of my favorite things that I found out after his career is how much Larry Bird talked to other players. In your day, how much talking was going on, and who was the best talker you played against?
Truthfully, I was a trash talker.
Nice.
On my team, and I did it mostly to Wilt Chamberlain because he was a friend of mine, and he was always coming out too late, and I'd take my jump shot and say, "It's too late, Wilt," right in his face, but I didn't point my finger at him because I thought he could have been the best player to ever don on an NBA uniform. That's how good he was at 7'2", quick, fast, did anything that he wanted to do, average 50 points a ball game in a year. The guy was tremendous. But Larry Bird was more of a trash talker than anybody that I know. And he did it in a certain way to let you know that you can't play me. I'm one of the best on the floor. And I think it put fear in some of the guys. I really did, and especially when he did those three-point shots during the NBA All-Star game. He would come in and says, "Okay, guys, I should be able to play so some of you can finish in second place." And so that's a trash talker. Now, on anybody else's team, Dick Barnett, which people don't know about. He came from Tennessee State. He was another trash talker. And he played with the Knicks and he played with the Lakers, so he played with two great teams. But he could talk some trash, too.
Sam Jones, legendary NBA player with the Celtics, won 10 NBA championships. Only Bill Russell won more. He'll be part of Meet the Legends 2 weeks from Monday in Naples. Do you like the way the game is played today with your skill set? I mean, you would have thrived in any era, but, I mean, your numbers today, might be obscene, but I'm just curious, do you like the way the game is played today?
There's some things I don't like. I don't like the way they can carry that ball and get away with it with 2 or 3 steps. But I guess that the LeBron James and the others can get away with it because this is what the fans want to see. And taking away nothing, LeBron James is a great player. And there's a lot of great players out there that's playing the game today. Embiid, Giannis. They're just great players I like to watch. But the team that I love to watch when they were together were the Golden State Warriors. I thought they had everything that you needed to win championships until that team was broken up. The other team was the Spurs. I like the way they played the game. They played together. There were no selfish players on the team, and it's so hard to stay together with what they're paying today. But had the Warriors stayed together and had been healthy, I think they could have made a great run at our record.
When you watch, the one thing I thought about the game is that, you were a guy that used the glass and used it really well. And when you said the Spurs, I could immediately think you probably really liked it, Tim Duncan, because
I certainly did. You just stop right there. Yes, I did. I don't know why you would say that, but Tim Duncan reminded me of me shooting when he could kiss that ball off the backboard the way he did. You're on time with that. That's right. That's the only one that I could think about.
Would you love to get in the gym with some kids and just show them? Because I would imagine you could still probably shoot. You could go into a gym with a 12 or 13-year-old who's going to try to swish everything and show that young man that glass can be your friend. Because kids don't do that.
Except there was one exception. Everybody now wants to be a Stephon Curry. Everybody wants to shoot the threes, even the little kids. And I can't understand why we're not teaching these kids. First of all, let's start in closely. Let's be positive where we're making the baskets rather than starting off shooting threes. They want to dribble between the legs and behind the back. This is what they're seeing on TV. And this is what they want to see. That's why I like one of the greatest college coaches to ever coach basketball, and that was John Wooden at UCLA, and won all those national titles. And he had all of his kids in practice to shoot off the backboard at every practice. And if coaches don't do that, the kids are not going to do it, and they're not going to learn how to do it. But you hit the right spot. I would love to take young kids who are 10 and 11 and 12 years old, take them in a gym and show them just why they should do it, and it's a much easier shot.
And Walton used the glass a lot throughout his career, and you could see that went all the way back to his days with Wooden and UCLA.
And not only that, he was a tremendous ball player.
Yeah.
This is one kid that, had he not hurt his foot, I thought he was the greatest passing center to ever come into the NBA. Plus, he could score, and he could play defense. And I think that his breaking his foot had a lot to do with him not being one of the top 5 centers to ever play the game.
Sam, when I'm looking at the time you played it, and obviously, Boston was so good, and I think the Boston players all received their proper accolades. It seems that in today's world, with Russ Westbrook doing what he's doing and the emphasis on the triple-double now, we talk about Oscar Robertson more, but he's a guy that we don't have video from. He played in an era where we just don't have a lot. Is he a guy that you look at? I mean, would he be the most underrated player? And I know he's thought of as a great player, but he seems to be the most forgotten player of your era. What was it about Oscar that was so tough to play against? What did you think he did best?
Well, first of all, he was 6'5". He was built almost like LeBron James. He had a tremendous shot that was hard to block because I went against him so many times, about 8 years out of his career, and he reminded me a lot of smaller Bill Russell. He hated to lose. And the one thing about Oscar, and I look at Magic Johnson, I look at Michael Jordan, one thing about Oscar, he made everybody around him better basketball players. And he came out every night with the idea of, we are going to win, and if you have to get on my back, I'm going to carry you all the way, even at 6'5", but a big 6'5". And he could pass. He saw the whole court, and he was tough to play. He could back you in, take a jump shot. He had a slight fadeaway like Kobe, but Kobe had a better fadeaway because he could jump higher. But playing Oscar was like having a headache every day. Because you really didn't want to play him. I'll tell you this right now. I remember one night Red Auerbach telling me, you got Oscar Robertson. And I got nervous at the time. And then when I got on the floor, I told Casey Jones, you got Oscar Robertson. and Red didn't understand that. And he says, didn't I tell you, Sam, that you had Oscar Robertson? I said, no, Coach, it was the other Jones boy. That bothered him for a while, but I didn't want to play
it. Sam Jones won 10 NBA championships during his 12-year career, all with the Boston Celtics. And Sam is joining Rick Barry, Nate Archibald, Phil Chenier at the Meet the Legends event. It's in a little less than 3 weeks, Monday, March 16th at Bo Campers in Naples. We'll be giving away tickets shortly. You can get your tickets and all the information for the event at NaplesAllStarEvents.com. Sam, this was a thrill for us. Hope it was worth your time. Safe travels. Look forward to meeting you in less than 3 weeks.
Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate it. You guys have a great day.
Sam Jones, legendary Hall of Famer. Only Bill Russell won more championships because, well, he played one more year.
That was fun.
Yeah, he really was. He born and raised. He's the first great player born in Wilmington, North Carolina. Everybody thinks about Michael. Sam came first.
Drafted by the Minneapolis Lakers. Much like, Red Auerbach is just a flippin' genius on a few different levels. He got Bird because of some quirk that he figured out and drafted him a year early.
Right, knew that he was eligible when nobody had figured it out.
Right, because he went to Indiana that 1 year that put him in the eligibility. Well, Sam was drafted by the Lakers, but he went back to get his degree and played one more year. And Auerbach drafted him, never having seen him play. Went to North Carolina to talk to a North Carolina guy and a Wake Forest guy and was told the best player in the state's about 10 miles away.
At North Carolina Central, which, as Sam mentioned, was a D2 school then, is a small D1 school. FGCU played them a few times. I did a game, actually, from their gym.
It's in Raleigh, right?
And a little south, I believe.
Okay, I know there's...
but, no, you might be... Or Durham, or one or the other, yes. But it's a little nook and cranny, if you will.
Yes.
It's a little nook and cranny. And they've had a good run here. I think Lawrence Moten, their head coach,
You're right, it's in Durham.
Taking them to the tournament quite a few times in the last 10 years. They play a slow-down style.
But it's one of the historically black colleges, but that was fun. That's one when you get to go back in the time machine and listen to Sam Jones tell stories about Russell and Cousy and Wilt and Oscar Robertson. That's
played college ball in the mid-'50s, and obviously, the North Carolinas and the Wake Forest of the world were not recruiting Sam Jones yet. It would be another 10 or so years before someone like Sam Jones would even be recruited by the quote-unquote big boys, and that's why he went to a D2 North Carolina Central.
From Sam Jones to Seth Everett.
Wow.
He's going to have to deliver today. I don't know if you realize it.
It's a big step down.
It really
is.
It really is.
We're
sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so rotten.
Sorry, Seth.
That's so rotten. Seth comes on for free. That was very mean. It's Seth's first appearance since I yelled at him last time.
Right. And you're going to have to tell the story off air about what took place after the show last week. But until then, all right, do you want to win tickets to the Meet the Legends event at Bo Campers in Naples, Monday, March 16th? How about we give away a couple pairs?
I think it's a great idea.
249-8167 is the number to call, 249-8167. First and second caller. Pair of tickets. If you can't go, please don't call in and win, or at the very least, give the tickets away. We'd like to see a full house for the Meet the Legends event. I think Sam and Rick Barry and Nate Archibald and Phil Chenier deserve that. Monday, March 16th, 249-8167 to win your tickets. Otherwise, you can go to NaplesAllStarEvents.com. Miller and Moulton, Seth Everett next. Thanks so much for listening. Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
Our sound is a sound that makes you stop. Stop. And listen.
Listen to me and you listen well.
It's a collective voice
That
that
was
calls out
awesome.
to you, the fan.
We get a lot of zany
Well,
people that call in.
I'm not always.
Is our sound.
We're dealing with sick people here.
They're just absolutely nuts. Crazy stuff happens. That's all I'm saying.
And you can only get it here.
Get crazy, get wild.
On Fox Sports Radio.
This is Mark Miller for Tim Tracek Motors, and I'm with Wes Dobbins, a very satisfied Tim Tracek Motors customer.
Thanks, Mark. Over the past 20 years, my family and I have purchased at least 17 vehicles from Tim Tracek Motors. Everything from Beamers to town cars to Cadillacs to cars for our kids to the Toyota Avalon and Highlander that we currently own. We've always been impressed by the thoughtful, straightforward way that Tim and Matt do business. We especially appreciate that they're so picky about the quality of cars that they bring to the market. They have always stood behind their cars, and that's why we'll continue to be loyal Tim Tracek Motors customers.
Well, there you have it. Visit online at timmotors.com. That's timmotors.com, or call to set up an appointment at 275-7900. 275-7900. At Tim Tracek Motors, they are confident when you meet them, you'll agree that you've never been to a dealership like theirs before. Visit online at timmotors.com. That's timmotors.com, or call to set up an appointment at 275-7900. 275-7900.
Hi, this is Rich Castellano. I invite you to come check out the world-famous cigar bar.
Nobody beats the world-famous cigar bar, Southwest Florida's original cigar bar since 1996, with locations in historic downtown Fort Myers, Gulf Coast Town Center, and Cape Coral. Sit at the bar or relax in the lounge in comfort with plenty of TVs at all three locations where you can watch your favorite sports in comfort. Step into the humidor and let one of our experienced tobacconists help you pick the perfect cigar from our great selection. And the liquor, martinis, single malt scotches, small batch bourbons, high-end cognacs, and a great selection of craft beers. Nothing can compare to the selection, experience, and atmosphere of the world-famous cigar bar in historic downtown Fort Myers at the corner of First and Henry, at the Gulf Coast Town Center Mall next to Outback Steakhouse, and in Cape Coral on 47th Terrace in the Big John's Plaza.
Good times, great cigars at the world-famous cigar bar.
And don't forget Cigar Bar Live downtown.
Pool need a checkup? Call the doctor, the Pool Doctor.
Hi, Dr. Mark here. Your old pool pump is an energy hog and likely your second greatest user of electricity. We'll install a new Pentair energy-efficient pump, saving you over $500 a year. We're a family company, and for over 40 years, we've been doing business right.
The prescription is the Pool Doctor for award-winning pool service, repairs, and unheard of $39 diagnostic calls. That's mypooldoctor.com or 239-574-1133. State certified CPC 057088.
94.1 Fort Myers. We are
Attention, men. It's a proven fact that a lack of intimacy in a relationship can hurt self-esteem and lead to emotional detachment. Let the Fort Myers Men's Clinic help you create the relationship you have always wanted and put an end to ED and PE with one visit. Erectile dysfunction and premature issues are simple to eliminate with the right treatments and the providers that understand how they work. The doctors at Fort Myers Men's Clinic offer the latest and available treatments with same-day solutions for erectile and premature issues. You can increase ability and stamina in just one visit. Most men think the little blue pills or testosterone are the only options. Not true. Call 239-317-7777 to meet with the licensed medical providers no matter what age you are. And even if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or have had your prostate removed, they can help you. 239-317-7777, 317-7777, or go to FortMyersMen'sClinic.com.
Great.
Oh, love your new TV and the sound. It's amazing. But where are the speakers? It's like they're invisible.
They are invisible. It's the coolest new technology, and they're the best speakers on the market.
It's crazy. I've heard of wireless speakers, but invisible speakers? That's epic.
Epic Audio and Video invites you to experience invisible speakers for yourself. You won't believe your ears or your eyes. Visit Epic Audio Video Showroom on the corner of US 41 and Pine Ridge in Naples, or online at epicaudiovideo.com.
Right?
Now back to Miller and Moulton.
All right, now we're getting somewhere.
No. This is Miller and Moulton.
You're live.
So how much are we looking forward to Meet the Legends now after 15 minutes with Sam Jones?
Wow, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. He was terrific.
Sam, along with Rick Berry, Nate Archibald, Phil Chenier, coming to town 2 weeks from Monday, the 16th of March. NaplesAllStarEvents.com. NaplesAllStarEvents.com is how you can get your tickets. And, you know, you're going to be able to have with him 2 hours at the very least as to what we just had over the last 15 minutes. We'll have a few more tickets to give away between now and then. Joining us as he always does at this time on the Goldberg Noon Abraham Law Firm Hotline, local people, local practice, local knowledge, Goldberg-Law.com, is Mark Miller's best friend, Seth Everett.
My buddy, Seth. Hi, Seth.
How are you guys? I wasn't sure you're going to call.
What? I got nothing against you. I didn't jump your chain. All right, that was Mark.
That's true. That's true. We're all still friends here.
We are. Seth and I made up later that day.
Well, tell him about the text he sent.
So I had, and Seth knows now, but I have another job, and I immediately wanted to text Seth after and apologize. And I got caught up doing work, and all of a sudden, about around noontime, lunchtime, I see I've got a text on my phone, and I look, and it's from Seth, and all it says are we still friends? And I, of course, I answered quickly. I said, yes, of course. And the response then was perfect. PHEW. Whew. That, and I just sat there and chuckled for about 5 minutes, and then we texted a couple things back and forth. And at the end of it, Seth said, yeah, but Aubrey Huff's still a blankety blank. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I never challenged that once. We were both on the same page with that.
No, it was a mid rant. I said something backwards, and that's all it was. And I caught it. You caught it, and it was a little bit of an overreaction. But I just was like, I don't ruin friendships over something like that. If the only way I've ever ruined friendships with morning show hosts is because of Tim Tebow. So if it didn't involve Tim Tebow, it wasn't worth it.
What's wrong with Tim Tebow? I mean, it is Florida here. Yeah, I'm just.
I can't stand Tim Tebow. Let's not do it. I don't need the tweets. I don't want to hear it. I can't stand it.
All right, we're going to stop there because it is Florida, and
we'll lose half our audience.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Seth.
And if we're going to lose half our audience, we want to lose half our
audience.
I
want to do that all by myself.
Lose it for us.
No,
right.
I did this on another station. If you want to know why, ask me on Twitter, and I will direct message you. Keep your direct messages open. I'll direct message you the article, and I won't do it publicly.
Okay.
Because I don't want to start a
right. No, for most people to take. There are certain ones. I definitely am with you there. Seth, we still don't have an answer on the Red Sox. This thing's dragging forever, and I don't.
Granted the same immunity deal, and if he didn't, it wasn't a blanket to all players. it was in the course of the Astros investigation. There was an immunity deal, and I talked to a Red Sox official, and I said, "Are all the players talking?" And he said, "I can't confirm that." And so it just made me think that there's no immunity deal and that there's a possible punishment. Because the other thing is, if the only person he's going to penalize is Dombrowski and Cora, both former employees, there's no impact on the Red Sox. So, but there are players from 2018 still on the team. So that's where I think this comes from. And again, this is my whole point on why you can't penalize the Astros, because if you didn't grant the Astros players immunity, they were never going to talk. And I don't think the Red Sox are talking now.
Do you think that the Astros just wear the black hats all year? That this is going to be a year-long story?
Aren't they navy blue?
But you know what I mean. Do you think that will be the case, or do you think it is possible that our angst just runs out of steam? That every time the Astros come to town for the first time, there will be some noise, but that by the second half of the year, when for the most part you're playing teams that you've played before, that, this will run out of steam until the final week of the season when they show up in the Bronx for their only time all year.
Yeah. I just think it's going to be something that, as long as the rhetoric is they're utter defiance, I just think they're going to continue to get it. Because don't forget, people who are going to baseball games, most baseball fan ticket holders are not season ticket holders. So every time they go to a Baltimore or a Boston or somebody, people are seeing them for the first time. And I just think it's going to continue, and rightly so. It should.
Well, but Seth, and I'm sure it's going to continue. Will this? You've been on the same tirade about the sport for a while. Too many strikeouts. Too many strikeouts. Too many strikeouts.
Much too many. Yeah.
Right. No, I know that. But does this, in a way, I don't even want to say help or hurt baseball, but just kind of kick the can down the road? Because we're going to spend all this year, at least half this year, talking about the Astros and cheating, and the problems that baseball has aren't going to go away.
I don't think that's the case, only in the sense that it's the same thing like when we talk about the strikeouts. I only talk about that in markets that don't have local teams. If I go on the air in Milwaukee, it's, do the Brewers have enough? It's not the state of the game. And so I think this scandal was a perfect timing in terms of the media cycle, in that, baseball hadn't really started, and even now it's spring training, it hasn't really started. The whole aspect of the talk and the Manfred conversation, in week 15, in the year of Ray Rice, of the Ray Rice incident, in week 15, when there were playoff implications in 6 games, was Roger Goodell mentioned during the course of the football Sunday? No. And so all I'll say is, if the sport continues to be slow, it's going to see decreased ratings. I've told you in the past, the NBA has experienced a 23% drop in ratings this year, and yet they're saying that their popularity is never better, and it has to do with streaming and cord cutting and the like. And if that's the case for basketball, I think baseball is going to see a dramatic dip. And people in the media are going to attest that to this cheating scandal, and I don't see it. I think the root problems still remain, and I just think that once the season starts, if I'm on the air in Boston, it's all about the Sox, and if I'm on the air in Milwaukee, it's all about the Brewers. If people care about their teams first and the state of a league second.
Well, baseball should be given credit for a few things over the last 20-plus years. One of them was they were the leaders in MLB.com and MLB.TV. I mean, they were the first of the big four.
I owe my children to that fact.
Yes, okay, and they were the first of the big four to realize this is where it's going, and this is a great thing, and we're going to take advantage of it, and we're going to make a lot of money by taking advantage of it. But Seth, there's an interesting phenomenon, if you will, going on right now, is that Major League Baseball, which has been the most open online and the trendsetters online, is now slowly having one blackout after another for one fan base after another, and now they've just blacked out the entire country of Canada from watching the Blue Jays, haven't they?
Well, but the reason for that, and it's not a question of blaming baseball baseball's kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. Once the Fox-Disney merger happened and all the RSNs got purchased, and then Sinclair got involved, and Amazon sold the Yes Network, there was a domino effect in that now teams can sell their local streaming broadcast. So in the Toronto circumstance, what they're saying is Rogers Sportsnet can now sell online the online streaming of the Blue Jays game, where in the past, the only way to get it was MLB.TV. And I think if you're Amazon Prime, you're going to get the Cubs, and I think you might get the Yankees. I have to look. I have to look at all the notes because there's tons of news coming out every day. But the fact is that I just thought that story was misleading. Anybody in Canada wants to see the Blue Jays, they just have to subscribe to a different app. And isn't that the way you watch Friends these days? Isn't that the way you watch The Sopranos these days? It's the same thing. And the difference is when fans would spend the same $19.99 or whatever it was a month, they would get every out-of-market game. So they could watch, Houston play Seattle. God, that would be boring. And if they did that, you could also get the Blue Jays as long as you were outside of Toronto. Now, if you get this Rogers Sportsnet, if you live in Calgary, you're going to get the Blue Jays games. You can't get the Blue Jays games and the Oriole games. And that's where the disconnect lies. That's not really baseball's fault. That's just the changing times. And if you're going to let the Yankees do it and you're going to let the Cubs do it, you have to let the Blue Jays do it.
Isn't that how you watch Friends in The Sopranos, David, on the app?
Right.
I immediately, Seth, you started doing that, and I was kind of looking at something. I immediately just turned and stared at David until we caught eyes, and I just pointed and said, "That's how you do it." And he just looks at me and laughs.
For the record, gentlemen, last week I signed up for Netflix.
No!
Last week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
How did your daughter survive all this years not using your account? I mean, that's what I'm trying to. My son would be. This would be very difficult on my college-age son for me not to have Netflix or Apple Music. I mean, I don't know what the hell he'd do without my subscriptions for things. My cable password. In fact, he's got my buddy's cable password for Michigan, so he can watch Red Wing games on his phone. Seth, quick diversion.
Oh, I still pass. I trade password. I trade my MLB password to my mother-in-law for her Cablevision password. That's how I get MSG. I mean, I'm 45 years old. I trade that stuff all the time.
Absolutely. I'm still looking for a Hula one. Seth, quick question for you here, a little off the subject.
If you hadn't yelled at me last week, I would have given you mine.
Nope.
Fair enough. I'll that's my goal. Earn that back. We have a poll question today, Seth, that started earlier in the show. David travels a lot, as you know, whether it's with Fox Sports or CBS.
I saw that.
All right, and he does not let anybody in his hotel room. Do you let anyone in your hotel room, Seth?
Absolutely. And I'm naked when they come in.
Okay. All right. Okay.
No. I don't know. I just think that there's a cleanliness thing going on there, but that's all right. I don't judge.
I get free towels. I don't know anybody who at home.
Piling up. They must be piling up.
Well, I do throw them in the corner. All right. Sometimes I'll accept them.
Sometimes the corner just grows and grows and grows, and then you say, "Can someone take these?" And voila, someone's entered your room.
Well, but that's not really entering the room, if you know what I mean. If it's supervised and it's 5 seconds or less, but I think you get the gist. I don't go to work.
Like when Jerry took out the Miss America pageant.
Yes.
The chaperone.
Correct.
It's all supervised.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right. Hey, quickly
I'm with
here.
Costanza on the sheets, though. I mean, just for the record, I can't have sheets all tucked in like that. That drives me nuts.
You're blaming Lupe? I could do that all day.
And you probably will.
I know. I knew once I did that, I walked into a couple.
All right.
That's one of the best things. Seinfeld has a deal with Hulu, but Jerry Seinfeld has an exclusivity deal with Netflix. And so Jerry Seinfeld's stand-up specials and his Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee is all on Netflix, but the show itself is on Hulu and not on Netflix. And it's just very confusing.
He's Seth Everett. All right, kind enough to join us once again is podcast Sports with Friends and Hall of Justice. All right, you need to humor me about two baseball things here. Puig's not signed. I find that interesting because, one, I thought he had a pretty good year last year, and two, there are some teams out there that like really need offense, like the St. Louis Cardinals, for instance. And I really thought Puig was going to end up on a one-year deal, $10-12 million with the Marlins. But does it surprise you Puig's unsigned, and who should sign him?
It does, and the one thing that you hear about Yasiel Puig is there's been two questions. Number one, how good a shape is he in? That's one. And number two, he's looking for guaranteed money, and I think that's the issue. People don't want to give him anything guaranteed. And, in baseball, unlike football, and I'm only saying this because, you're a heavy football market, if you sign a contract, you can declare what percentage of it is guaranteed, and that's where I think the sticking points will be. I heard the same thing with the Marlins. I think it makes sense. He wants to go to a contender, but he can ask for all he wants. I will always say that in the Puig versus Mattingly battle, I was Team Mattingly all the way.
Well, and I do think he has grown up a little bit in the last couple of years. I mean, he's always going to be immature, and we all know his background. But I do think in the last couple of years that he has matured. I also think his effort has been a lot better.
I don't disagree, and I don't cover him up close. I never really dealt with him. But all I know is, he tried to get his manager fired, and he did. and I always thought that was kind of wrong. My argument has always been Yasiel Puig is a guy who had great raw ability when he first came into the league, and very like Vladimir Guerrero, had very poor mechanics. The difference is Vlad Guerrero taught himself mechanics, and Puig never did. So the mistakes Puig makes now are the same mistakes he made his rookie year.
And one final baseball note, the Yankees, who were besieged by injuries last year, they got rid of their entire training staff, and another year, and it's more injuries, and particularly to the pitching. Paxton not going to be available opening day, likely to miss the first month. But now their number 2 starter, Severino, Tommy John surgery, out for the year, his future in question. Is this going to impact the Yankees the way it would other teams? I mean, a number 2 starter is still a number 2 starter. That seems like a big deal to me.
Major. Yeah, I mean, my only issue is the division is down. The Red Sox are down. There's no secret about that. The Orioles are a joke. The Blue Jays aren't that good. Tampa's good. And Tampa will always be good. But they were so head over heels above the rest before. Does this just bring them back to the pack? Yeah, because I don't think they're going to be able to replace him now. I think it's more of a deadline situation. And so it's a big loss. They've had a couple of big losses now. Their depth is compromised. If they lose another starter, I would put Garrett Cole and Masahiro Tanaka in bubble wraps. I would not mess with those two. And Tanaka is the one I'd worry about. Cole is pretty healthy, but Tanaka's the one you worry about. And Judge hasn't played on the regular field yet. He's still hitting indoors. Stanton's an injury waiting to happen. I wouldn't bet money on the Yankees. I think they're the best team in the American League, but this thing about they're a sure thing and print World Series tickets, I just think that's premature.
Well, they're a less than 3-1 favorite to win the World Series, and normally this time of year it's
and their over/under is 101.
Right. I mean, the numbers right now are huge in the Yankees' favor. That's how head over heels everybody is. If I remember correctly, is this Ben Affleck week?
It is, and something funny happened with Ben Affleck. He was originally going to be on the Hall of Justice only. That's the superhero podcast, and he was Batman. And he still is. It's still planned for Thursday. The conversation became such a sports conversation. I'll give you two previews. Number one, Ben Affleck and I debate who's at fault in the Mookie Betts trade. And Gavin O'Connor, who is sitting right next to me, is the director of this movie, The Way Back. He also directed Miracle, and we did the interview on the 40th anniversary of the Miracle on Ice. So we go off on a 6-minute tangent where Gavin O'Connor tells these amazing stories of Herb Brooks. And as I was sitting there in the press junket with Ben Affleck and Gavin O'Connor, and I just said, this has to be on Sports with Friends also. Like, how can you not put this on Sports with Friends? So they're different podcasts, and there's portions of the interview that are going to only be on each show. But, yeah, Ben Affleck's going to be on both shows this week.
Good for you. And while that's great and your Mookie stuff, I'm dying to hear the stuff on Herb Brooks, because I have a good friend that I worked with in hockey for years that was very close to Herb, and PK O'Hanley is his name. He was the assistant coach for the team that I worked for here. And PK says that Herb was arguably the greatest cursor that's ever walked planet Earth.
Well, I'll give you a little preview. There's so much more in it. But Gavin O'Connor tells the story because in the real history, it took like 30 days, I think it was, to put the roster together. And in Miracle, he did it in a day, in the movie Miracle. And Gavin O'Connor is very serious about authenticity. So it's just not poetic license that he just took like some other films take, Quentin Tarantino. And the idea that Gavin O'Connor decided to do that, he went to Herb Brooks and explained why. And he goes into grand detail on the podcast on why. And Herb Brooks says, I should have done that. He says, the way you do it in the movie is much smarter. So I went home and I rewatched Miracle, and it's really funny. So after you hear the interview, you're going to... Miracle, by the way, David, is on this thing called Disney Plus. And that has all the Star Wars films and the Marvel films, but it also has Miracle. And Saturday, I watched Miracle again, and it's a great film, and it's a great moment in sports history. And so the idea that Gavin O'Connor directed this movie, something had to motivate him to want to take on that movie. It's not like Disney called him and said, here, you're doing something on the Olympic hockey team. He was, this is a passion project. So to be with Gavin O'Connor on the 40th anniversary, I think next to Al Michaels, that's as good as it gets.
And these are going to be two great listens, Sports with Friends and Hall of Justice, and they are both hosted by
my friend,
Seth Everett. You can follow him on Twitter at Seth_Everett. Seth, as always, all the best.
Thanks for having me. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Seth Everett, kind enough to join us. Please, you and I could have done a whole podcast with him on the NHL trading deadline. Huge Devils guy here. He's a little... he's about ready to take over as general manager, by the way. He's where I've been in the past about my teams. He's had just about enough. All right. Now it's time to bring in the real experts.
Right.
And Seth and I sometimes think we are. Seth Everett joining us here on Miller and Moulton, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and what's on tap as we put this Hump Day edition to bed. Thanks for being with us. Miller and Moulton, Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio.
This is the Dan Patrick Show.
If you got a chance to watch the Chiefs victory parade, you probably noticed one player who was a little bit louder than everybody else, and that was tight end Travis Kelce. He's become the unofficial party starter for the world champs, and he's reminiscent of Rob Gronkowski. You might call it the Gronk effect, and Kelce and Gronk are actually the same exact age. It feels like the tight ends are trying to take over for wide receivers.
Dan Patrick.
And here they are.
Weekdays at 9 a.m. on Southwest Florida's Fox Sports Radio and FoxSportsFM.com.
Get your tickets now. Naples All-Star Events presents the Legends of Basketball. Meet and greet Monday, March 16th from 4 to 6 p.m. at Bo Camper's Sports Bar and Grill. Come and enjoy the company of NBA All-Stars, including Nate Archibald, Rick Barry, Phil Chenier, and Sam Jones. Your exclusive access not only includes the Hall of Famers, but an appetizer buffet, prizes, and more. VIP tickets give you the premium contact, including autographs and personal photo ops. A portion of the proceeds to benefit the Warrior-Centric Healthcare Foundation that provides necessary healthcare needs to military and veteran communities. Meet and greet the Legends of Basketball, March 16th at Bo Camper's Sports Bar and Grill, 8990 Fontana del Sol Way, Naples. Don't miss this opportunity to be with NBA All-Stars and Hall of Famers. It's the Legends of Basketball Meet and Greet. For more information and to get your exclusive ticket now, go to NaplesAllStarEvents.com.
Okay.
We're on the phone with our good friend Tim Meister, owner of the Floor Meisters in Naples. TJ, we hear you've added several new colors of Core-Tech to your great lineup of products at the store. Tell us more about that.
We just ordered 5 new colors of Core-Tech for our stock. All nice, light, beautiful colors for Southwest Florida. That'll bring our total of 55 colors of Core-Tech in stock every day for purchase and take home.
And it's not just the many colors of Core-Tech that you have. You also have other Core-Tech products as well.
We also carry the Core-Tech Stone product. Looks like tile, looks like stone, but it's Core-Tech, so you get the softness, quietness, and the easy installation to go with it. We also have Core-Tech wood, look of wood, real wood, but with a more stable core for Southwest Florida's humidity.
If you haven't been to the Floor Meisters, you really owe it to yourself to visit the store. 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go online, floormeisters.com. That's floormeisters.com.
Hey, check this out, Southwest Florida. You know that sweet trade-in deal we've been doing here at Naples Nissan? Well, it just got sweeter. If your trade-in is less than 8 years old with less than 80,000 miles on it, guess what? Naples Nissan is going to give you the original base MSRP for it. Wait, what? Yeah, so whatever that Hyundai, Kia, Toyota, Nissan, or Honda was worth 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago is exactly what it'll be worth now. Only at Naples Nissan. Ford, Dodge, Chrysler, Chevy, yep, we'll take those too. Let's see, a brand new Nissan or that old 2012 you're driving now that needs new tires. Bluetooth, no Bluetooth. Backup camera, no backup camera. Come on, it's a no-brainer, folks. Visit NaplesNissan.com for full details or come see us on Pine Ridge Road and drive home in that brand new Nissan today. Offers on select models with approved credit and cannot be combined.
Wake up with Miller and Moulton weekdays at 6 a.m.
We are Fox Sports.
Pool need a checkup? Call the doctor. The Pool Doctor.
Hi, Dr. Mark here. Do the math. Taking care of your pool is probably not a good use of your time and money. Free $50 Bonefish gift certificates when you sign up for one of our award-winning weekly service plans. We're a family company, and for over 40 years, we've been doing business right.
The prescription is the Pool Doctor for award-winning pool service, repairs, and unheard of $39 diagnostic calls. That's mypooldoctor.com or 239-574-1133.
State certified CPC 057088.
Boaters Landing, where you'll find the latest in Four Winds outboard-powered bow riders from 20 to 35 feet. You'll also find Four Winds boats carry one of the best warranties in the business. The Four Winds factory warranty is not just any 3-year warranty. It covers material, labor, and most boat components for 3 years. Four Winds boats, designed for families and saltwater. Boaters Landing, delivering the dream for over 30 years.
From the best headlines,
the best,
to the worst.
It's the worst thing that ever happened to anybody ever.
Prepare yourself and hide the women and children. This is Mark Miller's Good, Bad, and Ugly on Fox Sports Radio.
You're live.
For the good today, well, we go to Philadelphia, where I'm always enamored with people who adopt. I think that they're just special people that do that. And Bobby Floyd, well, she's a step above because she adopted 4 children recently and then is going to adopt 2 more. That way all 6 brothers and sisters can stay together. She's been fostering 3, eventually decided to make things permanent but didn't want them to be separated, so she's adopting all of them. That's just, those things have always amazed me that people can do that. For the bad, we go to school where, it's one thing. David, I'm guessing at some point your daughter no longer wanted to kiss goodbye when you dropped her off at school and didn't want to give you a hug, and that, can't do that anymore. I'm not cool.
Right.
Well, Heather Nicholson dropped off her son to school and then went to pick him up. And when she picked him up, Hunter, her son, was very anxious to tell her about something that happened in school.
All right.
That's when Hunter rolled up his pant leg and pulled out a pair of Mom's thongs that were stuck to his clothes, and the kids found out in music class.
Oh, that's outstanding. That's outstanding.
Social media loved the post, and there were a lot of people sharing their experiences with rogue laundry mishaps.
That's static cling,
That's
Mark.
so funny.
That's static
That is
cling.
so funny.
It's what always gets you in trouble. It's the static cling.
For the ugly, and my uglies have been downright ugly lately.
Yes, they have.
And this is no exception. We go to Orlando, Florida, where deputies responded after Sarah Boone called about an incident. She was playing, as she said, a game of hide and seek with her boyfriend. But turns out that wasn't much hide and seek. See, she says that they were playing hide and seek and drinking, and she passed out after he hid, reportedly, in a suitcase. Turns out that after some videos were found, you could hear him yelling he couldn't breathe from inside the suitcase, and she yelled, "That's what I feel like when you cheat on me." She may have fallen asleep. We know for sure the boyfriend fell asleep and never woke up.
Oh, wow.
That is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, February the 26th. This is 2020.
You get out of here and let me watch my program. And close the door when you go, because I don't want those mosquitoes coming in here.
College hoops tonight.
1 minute.
Big Ten Network's got an interesting doubleheader. Rutgers at Penn State, followed by Maryland at Minnesota. Boy, Rutgers could use a road win. Villanova's hosting St. John's, 6:30. Mark, that's your game on FS1. NBA double dip tonight on ESPN is Memphis-Houston early at 8, Boston-Utah late. The Heat are hosting the Timberwolves. The Magic are on the road in Atlanta. One of those games will be on a Fox Sports Florida station near you. NBCSN hockey doubleheader, Buffalo and Colorado at 8, Penguins and Kings at 10:30 on NBCSN, and that is what's on tap.
Go to your Netflix account tonight, if it's on there, and download Bloodsport. 32nd anniversary of one of the cheesiest movies ever made.
Nice. Well played.
Dan Patrick Show is next. Thanks for listening. Miller and Moulton, Fox Sports Radio.
We are